Okay, so we are here to play poorly, I think, the Great Zimbabwe, which to me, and again, Brian, you've said you played this against yourself. I just watched the video. I had the impression that this felt like this is a stretch what I'm going to say next, but I felt like this was a simpler food chain magnet. Like I
Was the
didn't.
impression I got as well, and then watching the details of like the um, ritual goods, I was like, oh, maybe maybe it's not simpler. Maybe they just moved around where the complexity is.
Right, but but I think overall it's probably not as. Man, I feel like wrapping your head around food chain takes a couple of plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by a couple I mean like more than I've played at this point. like,
Yes. A
like
couple more plays.
you have it's very interactive. It's for a game that doesn't look interactive. It's insanely interactive, right? Like you have to be so cognizant, and I think here it's pretty similar, right? Because we're like trying to like I mean the basic idea here is to win by victory points, but now I don't even know where the victory point tracker is right now because I don't see it on the screen.
Right.
All I see, and I'm going to zoom in here a bit, is the main map, and then stuff up here, which I don't know what all these things are. But basically, each of us is playing a tribe the Great Zimbabwe, and we're trying to get 20 victory points. But those 20 victory points will be adjusted mostly upward. I think there's one god card that moves it downward, which I'm getting the impression is like the big innovation in this game is that the victory point tracker is going to be different for each of us depending on which god's technologies and whatever else we gather, which again you can't even see on the screen right now because all you can see on the screen right now is the map. And I think the first thing we have to do, enable map inspector. I don't even know.
Top of my screen, it has our VRs at 20, VR 0 at 20.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and if I click on your characters up there, it basically just pulls up a tab that says no god.
Right.
Which,
So this is on.
which I find very hilarious. There is no god.
Yeah, I mean, pretty on the nose for me.
Yeah, it's pretty on.
Little heavy-handed maybe. So this is online board gamers. Right
Yeah.
now the prompt has place first monument. Brian.
Yeah.
You
So
may
Brian,
actually be first.
Brian. So I'm here with because I didn't even give a proper introduction because it's like I feel like this is the standard constellation, right? So Brian's here and Steve's here and I'm Andy and we're just gonna try to do what we usually do, which is I think we all have like a basic idea of the rules. If needed, I'll pull up a rules PDF. And we're going to try to fumble our way through this game that starts with, oh, there we go. And Brian already placed, like, which looks strategically smart. So there are 4 resources on the board, right? I think it's wood, clay, ivory, and gems or diamonds or whatever, right? Those are the 4 resources, and we're going to need those 4 resources to basically build technologies and all kinds of stuff like that. Also, interestingly, what I can see here is, I guess, yeah. Oh, is it me? It's me. Oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, wow. So if I hover over these different monument spots, it'll show me hubs used 0, hubs used 1. We'll get to what hubs are in a second, but basically hubs are a way that you can use your monuments to extend your reach, right? You can also use other people's monuments to extend your reach, but then you have to pay them a cattle, I think, which is the main money in this game is cattle.
Right.
And then, of course, there are the 4 resources. The 4 resources never pop up explicitly. It's not like you have tokens of them. It's when you need them, you use them. And then when you've used them, they get X'd out, right? So they get crossed out in the sense that now they have been used. And I don't know exactly how that flows into the turn order, but I guess we'll figure it out. So if I want a lot of clay, I don't even know what that means. I guess I go here. Yeah, you know what? Let's not overthink this. I'll just go there.
Okay. All right.
But you also later on you'll also be able to put other tiles on the board. Like you can add resources. You can add water tiles to merge water because water counts in this game as like a one big spot when you're counting distance. We'll get to that too, I guess. But the main number to remember here for like distance to a thing is always 3, and it's any of the directions. So it's not just cardinal directions. It's also diagonal.
Okay. And so the coloring here shows the different, I guess, number of hubs being used.
Yeah, green
So like,
means no hubs and yellow means one hub.
right.
But it also,
What?
I mean, it's also only taking into account. Yeah, you can't see that right now, Brian. I can't see it either
Okay.
because Steve's on his screen doing it.
Right.
But it's keep in mind, Steve, what you're seeing right now is just the hubs based on the two monuments that are already there. There will
That are
be
there.
there will
Yeah.
be other monuments in
Right.
the
We'll have
future.
other build out for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've even got, with you two having played, I have a purple color for 2 hubs used on the overlay as well.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm already realizing. I think I misunderstood. I thought you had to go through your own hubs. You can go through anyone's
You can go
hubs.
through anyone's hubs, but if you go through other people's hubs, then you have to pay them a cattle. I think.
Right. You pay a toll.
You pay a
basically,
toll
for
for
that.
that.
Otherwise it goes to the reserve.
No, I
Because
think
I caught that cattle roll, but I thought it was all to the reserve. Okay.
I think it goes to the. I think it. We'll see it, right? I think it goes to
Yeah.
the player. Maybe it goes to the reserve. Maybe it goes to the reserve. I'm not sure, but you have to pay
I'm
for it.
gonna-
But there is.
Oh, I meant
one...
like using my own hub would go to the reserve then, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's true. Exactly. If you use your own hub, it goes to the reserve. I thought if you use your own hub, it might be free, but I think that's you're right. That's not true. I think it's still a cattle.
I'm not positive. I guess
Yeah.
we'll find out.
We
Probably
will
at the
find
worst
out.
possible time.
This is the.
So-
I mean, that's why this is good. That's why it's good to have an adjudicated interface.
Yeah, exactly. So okay. So I've placed my first monument.
You still have to
And
hit
so,
and turn if you actually place it, because we can't see where you place it yet.
oh, I see. Okay.
There
Got
we
it.
go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're
Alright.
pretty symmetrical. Okay, so now the next thing I'll say is that I think the main way to score this game, to get scores in this game, is by building up your monuments, right? So your monuments right now, these things that you see the ones on, the one means it's one disc high if you were playing the physical game, and there are ways to lift your monuments, right? Hey Ukta, we got one viewer, I think. So the way you lift that is by getting resources that you need to like raise the monuments. But I'm also, again, at the moment, not even sure what resources you need to raise them, but you need to raise them. You'll see in the bottom right corner of my screen right now, there's the scoring chart, right, which shows you how much the monument is worth if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 levels high, right? A 5 level high monument is worth 21 victory points. And so that's going to be, again, unless I'm overlooking something, that's going to be the main way to score victory points, if not the only way. I'm not even sure. But the way we do this is in each round, we're going to have 4 phases, and the first phase is bidding for turn order. So anyone who here has ever played a Splotter before, you know that they, and this is going to sound like I'm being mean, but like I actually love this. It's just that when you've played a lot of Splotters and then you go back to a game where turn order is less complicated, it's almost a relief. Because turn order in Splotters is a big deal. It's not a big deal in terms of like doing it, but figuring out where you want to be in turn order, I find is always like, especially in Horseless Carriage. I mean, in Horseless Carriage is like the best version of it, I think.
Yes.
From the
Right.
Splotters I've
With
played.
you getting the sails out of the way and kind of blocking out,
Yeah.
sort of like blocking out other people from being able to make sails there.
It's
like
not
it's a crucial strategic consideration. with
It's not like other games in the past. They're not Splotters have never had this. It's just that in their games it feels like crucial, like a cornerstone of their design. So this is no different in this game. Only that my impression is that in this game going first is the big deal, and the way they do this is. What you'll see here right now is this is the first time they come out random, right? So turn order right now is Zulu, Kilwa, and Maku. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Mapungubwe. Mapungubwe? Something like that. So these are the 3 empires that we're playing, right? Steve Zulu, I'm Kilwa, and Brian's Mapungubwe. And I'm going to have to shorthand that at some point. So what happens now is you basically have to bid for turn order. Whose turn is it? It's Steve's turn.
It's mine.
So
right?
so we each of us start with 3 cattle, right? So at the top you can see 3 cattle. We start with 1 victory point. For some reason we start on 1, not on 0. We need 20 to win, all of us, but each of us start with 3 cattle. So what you do now is you pick a number or you pass.
Right.
And when you pick a number, you will put down cattle first on Zulu, then on Kilwa, then on map. I'm just going to call it the map for now. It's easier. If you pick 3, right? And then it's my turn, and then I have to bid more than you if I want to stay in the bid. or I pass, in which case I take the lowest spot on the turn order track. After that whole process is finished, right? So if I did say you picked 1 and you put it on Zulu, and then I picked 2, I'd have to put it on Kilwa and then on map, right? And then if Brian wanted to stay in, Brian would have to pick 3 and then start again with looping around with Zulu, Kilwa, and map. And then after everyone passes, you get your tile back with the number of cattle that are on it, right? So that's the process, right? The process itself seems straightforward, I think, but what it entails is less straightforward. So again, Steve, to you basically right now are trying to figure out whether you already want to pass or whether you want to put down 1, 2, or 3, right?
Right.
If you put down 3, it's over. And you would basically get one of them back, and we would each get 1, and you would go first, right? Because neither of us would be able to go over 3 because we only have 3.
Right. So I will go ahead and
bid 1.
I'll bid 1 to start.
I'll bid 2, I think, right? Turn, what's me? Pass 3 cows for action. Because if I think I can try 2. Let's do that. Yeah, I'll just do 2 and turn. There we go. Right, so now each of them has 1 cattle on it. But now if Brian passes,
we can't. Can we see the gods yet? Are they?
No,
are the gods?
I don't think so. I mean,
no gods, only men.
I don't think we can.
I'm just gonna pass.
We should be able to see them, but I think we can't. At least I can't.
I can't see it.
Maybe reserve? Oh, no. You can see them in the reserve. Click on the reserve button in the upper left, and it'll pull up
the available
gods,
ones.
specialists, tokens, technologies, all that jazz, right? I also don't know if these resource limits were the right ones to pick, but I didn't change anything. Because maybe this is the generous version, right? Because there's actually 3 of each, and I think you're supposed to play with 2 of each.
I'm fine with extra generosity.
Yeah,
that works.
That's okay. Yeah. Oh wait, it's 2. Maybe it's 2 cards. So if you look at the available technologies all the way at the bottom of this, you'll see that there's one with the VR plus something, and the other one with same card with VR plus something plus 1. Right. So the first person to buy the technology only goes up. Goes up less in victory requirement than the person who takes it second. Right.
Okay. Well, anyway, I can't realistically bid here, so just gonna pass.
Help. Oh, here. What do the symbol? Oh, there's a help menu. I'm gonna keep that open just in case I need that. Okay. So that means it's my turn, and again, I have 2 cattle because I spent 1 and I spent 2 and I got 1 back, and then likewise Steve has 3 and Brian has 4. So I paid quite a high price to go first. So now what we're seeing here is we have pick 1, build monument, raise monument, place craftsman, pick 1, choose god, choose specialist. So on your turn you can do, I think it's a number of different things. But of these things you can only do once each. You have, so yeah, once per turn you can activate a specialist, of which I have none. Once per turn you can either choose a god or choose a specialist. You can only have 1 god. Once you pick 1, that's it. And you can build a monument or raise a monument or place a craftsman. If you have the technology. Honestly, I don't even know exactly how you get the technology or the tile or the resource tiles, right? Because in the reserve, again, there are specialists and technologies. I know how to get the specialists. I'm not really sure how to get the technologies.
When you go to just build the thing, you just take the technology card if you don't have it yet, and then have to pay the VR increase.
Got it. Okay, so okay, cool. So if I place
then you're forced to immediately use it. I think is yeah. Same thing with craftsman. You take a craftsman, you have to use the craftsman that turn.
Right. So let's just do ourselves a favor right now, because now is a good time as any, right? To say, let's just go through, what do we have here? We have 8 gods, and those are chosen out of, I think, 12. We have 5 specialists. I don't know exactly how many come with the box. And then we have the technologies, and those are I think those are always the same. They're not randomized in the setup. So Zango is my favorite, right? Because it's really simple. It reduces the victory point requirement and says easygoing, no special benefits, right? So it just makes life easier for you supposedly, but also you get nothing from it. Um, Ziva, on pickup and at the beginning of your turn, you may raise/lower prices on your craftsman technology cards. Interesting, because you set a price, right, for what this costs for everyone, or just for yourself, something like that, right? And I don't know exactly what the requirements for those are, but again, the interface will probably help us. Because yeah, you can, shocker, in a splatter game, it doesn't, like, you don't own. I mean, you do own things, but like other people can use them, right? That's another. I would say that's another big design pillar in most spotters, and that costs 2 VR. Alegua, each turn pay up to 3 cattle of your first turn order bid from the common stock. Oh, interesting. So that's one that you would want if you are hell bent on going first, right? Because 3 are going to come from the stock that you don't even have to pay yourself. That seems very good. Sharipini, take the first cattle in each round of the generosity of the king's phase. Take the first cattle in each round of the So the generosity of king's phase is the phase we just played, right? That's the turn order phase. What does that mean? Take the first cattle in each round.
Does it mean you receive the cattle that somebody else bid?
In each round? That seems wild, right?
Yeah.
Don't fully understand that. But I guess we'll figure it out. Okay, next one is Eshu. Transportation range during your turn is 6. That's also strong, because normally the transportation range is 3. So that just extends your reach. Engai, additional 2 cattle income each turn. Cattle income. I guess that's on your technologies. Is that what the cattle income is? Because again, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, you'll probably put 2 cattle on it, and then towards the end of the round, you take all the cattle that are on all your resources or your technologies and specialists back. I actually kind of forget how to get cattle.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, I think it will become clear once we play around and look at the history. Okay, Ananzi, pay only 1 cattle per good bought. Interesting. So no matter what they cost, you only pay 1 cattle.
You only pay 1. Yeah.
Obatala, when building a new monument as your action, you may build 2 monuments instead of 1. +7. You can. I mean, I guess you can really look at the plus VR to gauge how strong these are. That seems to be very strong, but also I don't know enough about the game yet. So my gut reaction right now is to not actually care about this, and instead go for the specialists. Let's see what the specialists are. Herd, +6, probably strong. May pay 2 cattle to gain 1 cattle from the common stock. Use at most 3 times per turn. Huh?
So you'll put 2 cattle on the card at the end of your turn.
Oh, and
then an extra one will come, so you'll kind of get 50% interest every round.
Got it. So that's why it's limited to 3 times. Nomads, pay 2 cattle to ignore a zoning restriction when building a new monument. Right, and the zoning restriction, I think, is that you have to be 3 away from any other monument, or maybe just...
No, you can't be adjacent to another monument.
Oh,
so just 1 away. Yeah. Or you have to be 2 away. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Rain ceremony. May place 1 water tile for 3 cattle. Okay, there we go. So a water tile, you can see, are these ones down here. There are 8 of them, and they're 2x1s.
Right.
And you can use them. So this was a randomized map. I think the only tile that's always the same is the one in the center that we start on. And then these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles are put out randomly in a random orientation, which you can already see by the mere fact that the tree is in different directions, right? But for example, you could link these 2 bodies of water by putting a 2x1 water tile between them, right? And that way you would be able to jump straight from here all the way down to here, which, well, in this case, it doesn't matter.
Just a note on that. In the video that I watched, I noticed that he had 2 bodies of water that were diagonal, and they counted as separate steps. So if you're going to place one of those things, attempting to connect 2 bodies of water, I'd say maybe make sure it's... I don't know. Maybe it needs to be orthogonal to connect them.
I think it needs to be orthogonal, because I think in the video they were already connected diagonally, and that didn't count as connected.
That didn't count it.
Yeah.
But in this case, we have like 2 large bodies of water in the upper part, and then 2 large bodies in the left, and those could both be connected by a 2x1 if you just place it orthogonally. But anyway, so that's what that does. Rain ceremony, shaman, but also that happens once, right? That happens exactly once, and again, this.
Well, you can use it each round, right?
Well, Is that true? Oh, right, you can
Yeah,
use
the
these
specialists
things.
are every round.
You can use it. I don't think that's particularly strong in this map. Because again, if any one of us does that, it's not like the others can't also use that. It's not like it's your body of water, right?
Water.
Water. May place one resource. Oh, sorry. Shaman may place one resource for 2 cattle. So that's these resource tiles down here. So there's 6 wood, 4 clay, 3 ivory, and 3 diamonds. So those with that you can basically place those anywhere you want, which means you can obviously place them so that they're beneficial to you. That seems pretty strong, I'm gonna say. And then builder pay 2 cattle to activate for this turn. If active, you pay the first 2 cattle of each new craftsman to this card, which means it comes back. Okay, got it. So those are all pretty interesting, and I'm wondering now whether up here on the god side, I think Eligua is the most interesting.
Right.
But also I don't know if I already, because I can only go for a god or a specialist, and if I go for a god, I'm not going to be using it. But if I go for a specialist, I can already use the specialist. So that having said that, I only have 2 cattle, so it's not. So I could use the shaman, and that's it. And pay 200 zoning restriction. I kind of like herd. Herd plus 6 seems rough, but I think that's what I'm going to do. I am going to choose a specialist. I'm going to take the herd, confirm my choice. So now I did that. What's the map inspector? Oh, the map inspector means click an item to view ranges. Got it. Okay. Okay, that's what that is. Okay. And in case you guys didn't see that, you have to actually actively enable the map inspector, and when you do, you can click on the different, right now on the 3 different monuments, and it'll show you what the 0, 1, and 2 ranges are for hubs.
Right.
Which again looks pretty big in these cases, but that's also just because the water counts as like 1 step to go into the water. So let's disable that. For some reason in the video, I remember him saying, oh no, he said there were 3 bullet points. Here are 3 bullet points. So now I can use the specialist. Build monument raise seems absurd. Place craftsman seems interesting. But if I place the craftsman, I have to figure out, again, why would I be doing that? Brian, do you remember what it costs to raise your monument?
It's 1 ritual good per the current level of your monument, so you would need.
Right.
The thing is, what I got confused on is like, are all craftsmen ritual goods, or is it only like the secondary craftsmen are ritual
I think
goods?
the thing is, if I recall correctly from the video, once the secondary craftsman is out, you can't. The first one doesn't work anymore.
But both levels are both ritual goods.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Well,
but again,
someone can find out and pay the price if we're wrong.
So I already have a ton of clay, right? So I know that clay is, like, at least from a get to clay, is not going to be a big deal for me because I can do that. But diamonds, on the other hand, are going to be hard. I mean, diamonds, I have to use your stuff. And so I'm going to look right now. Whoops, I clicked the wrong
I mean,
button.
it takes 10 cows to even get the diamond tech.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't do that. Okay. That's me, once again, not paying attention, right? I don't actually have...
You could do like wood carver or clay.
No, but here's the thing.
Or ivory.
Build monument. So what do you need to build a monument? You can just do that or nothing?
It's just nothing, as far as I know.
Got it.
Just get a VP.
Because here's the thing. I think I might just build a monument, because then I will... Wait, you have no specialists? What just happened?
Did it reset?
I think
when you went off the...
Yeah. I think it may have reset. Let me choose that specialist again. I confirm choice. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so I think I'm just gonna use the specialist. Oh, I don't have enough. Oh, because the specialist also costs me cattle. Is that true?
Oh, really?
So I have no cattle. Right? Reset whole turn.
You should bid 2 up front.
How did choosing the specialist cost me here? I'm gonna choose the specialist. I'm gonna go to history because that way I can see the chat, the log.
Oh, because you have to use a specialist when you acquire it. So maybe it's it's
Oh, it already
leaving your
happened. Oh,
normal.
They're
right.
already
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. So that already happened. Because the may part is only for later, right? The first time you
Yep.
use it, you have to confirm it. It's just that now, oh yeah, there you go. It has it. Okay, that is. Thank you for reminding me of this because that basically already happened. So I can't. There's no more specialist to use. So I guess I can't raise a monument and I can't place a craftsman. So I have to build a monument. So now it's showing me where I can build a monument, um, which turns out not that many. So if I want to build it up here, then I would have to use a hub, which if I click that now, it should. I'm going to do this because I can probably undo the turn. Um, that worked. How did that work? Look at the history. Because I didn't build a monument at coordinates, chooses herd 2 cows. How can I build a monument up there even though I'm
I think you just build a monument anywhere. I don't think it has to be in
well,
range of
it
anything.
still said I'm going to still reset my whole turn because I'm going to build monument first. Again, if you're looking at the stream, like it's showing me all the places I can't build it, and then it's showing me the places I can build it, and that's literally anywhere, right?
I think the only restriction is you can't place it within one of another monument. That's
it's
it.
interesting, right? It's so weird. That's
But
so
building
weird.
it really far away from your other stuff is maybe not super helpful because then you have no network to hop through
This
or
is
whatever.
true. This is also true, right? I think I'd like to stay within my network so at least so that I'm oh interesting. So I have to do that. Yeah,
right.
it's
The three steps you were talking about is assessing whether the monument is in range, like
that's
when I'm
what I'm
looking at the
seeing
rules, but it doesn't
as
look like it's a build requirement.
that's what I'm seeing. That is very interesting because now from there it's in range. From there it's not. One, two. It's not exactly. So I have to be here or here, which seems better. Okay, I'm going to build a monument right there, and then I'm going to wait. You have no specialists? Did it undo the specialist again? Unbelievable. Okay, am I good now? I have a specialist. I have no god. I can't use the specialist because that already happened, and I end my turn. Ending your turn now will give you +4 for a total of 4. Your income is 0 god, 3 specialists, 0 techs, 1 the 1 monument gives me income.
Oh, monuments give you income. Okay.
Well, it's only
Hmm.
1. It says 1 for monuments. You could receive more cows if more. You could receive more cows if other players use your craftsman. I don't have any craftsmen. Okay, end my turn. Sorry, that took a hot second.
All good.
Okay, so it's to you, Steve.
Right.
So yeah, so you saw that I
Let
placed
me
a
see.
monument, right?
Yes. Yep. Let me see if I go to I'll play around here a little bit. If I choose a god up front, you may only have one and
Oh,
your choice is permanent.
Yep, that is 100% true.
so
So,
income is the the level of your highest monument.
Ah, interesting. Okay,
okay. So since you just started out, even with 2 monuments, they're still both at level 1. That's why it tops at 1. Okay.
got it.
So if I take Ingai to be able to, if I do that as a god, to have 2 cattle income each turn, just to start, kind of have a baseline of good economy going
I
while I
mean, sounds
mess
good.
things up, while I continue to mess things up on the map. Um, and then I think in the interest of expanding my network along the lines of what you were looking at, maybe build another monument down south to get to some of this stuff. Because it looks like I would still be in green.
How would you do that? Because you're still like you're from your current monument. You are 4 steps away from the body of water, in the left, right? So
Yeah,
I'm one.
I'm not sure how that. Maybe it's 3, but and then diagonal counts for range
Well, I'm
if
looking
it's
right
touching
now.
there.
I'm clicking on the map inspector, and I'm clicking on your monument, and it's showing green, basically leading all the way up to the upper right body of water and right to the boundary of that left body of water, right? Because it's 3 steps away.
Right.
So if you place a monument, Again, I don't know if you're looking at the stream right now, but if you place
I
a
am.
monument outside of the green region that is now showing as green, I don't think you can use your network as a hub, and you're gonna have to use
You're gonna have to use another hub
some other hubs, right?
in there. Okay.
That's my guess. As a person who's never played this game before.
Yeah, I think what's throwing me in terms of the way that things are highlighted, because I'll throw a screen cap real quick in the Discord chat just to make sure that I'm reading this right. Like if I like when I've got one just down and left to that one resource right below the middle body of water.
It's telling you that it's green because it's green. It is connected. It is connected to another monument. It's just not yours.
It's just not mine.
Yeah. Right?
Okay. Okay, so then okay.
I mean, I'd love you to place a monument there. I would
Why,
be
sure.
tickled pink
Yeah.
because then you would
Yeah.
need to use my hub. Well, mine
get to
or you could probably pick which one because they're both in the green. Both Brian and mine are within the green range. Also, we're probably going to put more monuments out, so I guess
Right.
don't overthink it like I did.
Yeah.
Don't do what I did. I felt like I was massively overthinking it.
I'm gonna place one up here in the upper right corner then. Let me see how that plays. Hopefully I'm still within range. It had everything as 0 for hubs. If not, we'll find out later, and that'll be fun. It does say ending the turn now gives you +3 cattle next turn for a total of 6. Your income is 2 from God, 1 from Monument. Yep, fine. Confirm in turn. Brian, it goes to you.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we can see that you in fact do have Ngai.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with building a monument. I think.
So it's build, raise, or craftsman, right? Build, raise, or craftsman. Yeah, there's probably a reason why that's the first. I mean, you can do them in any order, but there's probably a reason why that's the first one listed because it's just like you're going to do one of those, right? Yeah. Ideally, you raise or use craftsman, but in lieu of both of those things.
Oh, I can't build and raise. Oh.
No, you can do build, raise, or craftsman. Like you have three things you can do, right?
Yeah.
You can acquire a god or a specialist. You can't get a god and a specialist. You can use a specialist, and you can build or raise or use a craftsman.
Gosh, that's juicy immediately. What do I do? All right, I think I'm going to go with building a monument. And then
you literally can't raise yet. You could start doing craftsman stuff.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that though. Let's see here.
Diamond cutter costs.
Am I ready for a choice? Nope.
Even just the first tier diamond cutter wow, yeah, they both cost 10.
Yeah.
Well, so that they also don't have an upgrade, right? So the diamond cutter ends at diamond cutter, whereas wood carver, potter, and ivory carver can be upgraded to sculptor, vessel maker, and throne maker, respectively.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess you need the diamond cut, or do you? I don't even know. I guess when you do it, you get victory points, right? That's what that wreath is on the lower left corner.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like late game stuff. Like cost 10 cattle.
I feel like I'm not ready to choose a specialist or god yet.
Interesting. Yeah, so my reasoning behind the specialist was that I didn't want them to run out, right? Because there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're 3 players. Because I assume that it's not a bad thing to have 2 of them. Probably.
Actually,
Yeah,
let's do this. I'm gonna place
it's
a
a more
craftsman.
limited pool.
I'm gonna place a craftsman.
Yeah, I'm like,
Don't fully understand what I'm doing.
no,
But
that's welcome to the show. Welcome to the
This is
program.
what we do.
Welcome to our
This is
program where we
I guess
fumble
if it
our
let me
way.
place it, that means it is in supply or however you want to say it. All right,
Yeah, you
sorry.
should be because you have 4 cattle, right? But that you have access to pretty much all 3 right now, whether it's wood carver, potter, or ivory carver. And the good news
Yeah,
for
that's
you is
true.
that they're only going to raise your victory requirement by 1 less than if any one of us goes for
Yeah,
the other
that's
one,
kind of why I'm
right?
doing it. Yeah. Confirm craftsman set prices. Uh, let's start at 1. Okay, and I'm not going to choose a god or a specialist.
There we go.
I feel poor.
Okay, so that was our first. That's it. That was a round, right? That was a round. We all
We
have
made
two.
it.
We all have 2 victory points because we built a second monument. And our victory requirement is different, right? Mine's 26, Steve's 25, Brian's 23. And because I went first, 4, 6, and 3. Man, 6 cattle. You did a good. I think that was a good god to pick, probably, right? So I always need to hold on to 2 cattle, right? Because if I don't, yeah, I always need to hold on to 2 cattle. Ugh, this is gonna be gross. This is not great. Do I already try for 2 cows just to shorthand this? Pass 4 cows. 3 cows.
The Moncala math here is like super interesting, right? Because if you bid 2, then Steve bids 3 and you'll win it and get 2 back.
Yeah.
So it's there's this turn order is
I
super
think I'm
interesting.
gonna go for 2. I'm gonna go for 2. There we go. Because even if both of you pass, I'll get 1 back. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Oh, sorry. In turn. Man.
That's why
I'm just sitting here hanging. I'm like, why is he not doing anything?
I wanted to let you ruminate on the decision. Maybe it's a big decision. Maybe it
No,
isn't. I don't
no.
know.
I just forgot to
No
hit.
pun intended.
I just forgot to hit intern. It was just bad on my end.
Yeah, do I want to? I mean, I've got 3 to burn, but how bad do I want? How bad do I want this early turn right now? I don't know. Can building up cattle now help me down the line? I am inclined to pass.
Does it show you like where the
Where they go? Yeah.
bid cows are? Because it's like important to actually visualize that.
Oh, I see. You don't see them right now?
Oh, no, oh, there it is. Okay, I see it's right on the pads. I forgot the
Right,
big
right. It's
squares.
at the top. So, Kilwa
Yeah.
and Zula each have a cattle because I put down 2.
So I guess if I pass, that puts me in third
Puts you in
position. I
third
guess
position. Yeah.
right, because I'm actively passing at that point. So Brian would not be given a chance to bet, or
Oh
would
no.
Brian?
Brian still gets. We're still in the race. Brian can bid
Okay,
3
he
and
would still right.
yeah. But I would come in.
I
Okay.
I would
mean,
be at least.
going first basically costs you 1 cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it. At least not yet. I'm gonna go ahead and pass. Probably regret that, but we'll see.
Well, I'll take that gift, I guess.
Wow. I still got to go first. Interesting. Okay. 3 cattle. What a bunch of garbage. Garbage. So okay, choose God. Am I still a fan of Elegua? Maybe I am, because I do think I want to eventually figure out what my strategy here is. Special on pick up. Each turn you pay with 3 cattle. Take the first cattle. 6 payment when cattle get bought. We're building a new monument. Maybe build 2 instead of 1. Oh, I see how this is strong. Okay. But also I think that's wild, right?
I definitely get it more now, just from the action efficiency.
Right. So I can't even take the shaman right now. I know I can, but if I do, I have to do the 2 cow thing, and then I can't use the herd. If active, you pay the first 2 cow of each new craftsman to this card. I like that too.
Legua is interesting because it's kind of more like it's less of a direct personal benefit and it's more of like an inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we see how many cattle are available in the common stock?
Guess
Is that in the reserve as well?
Is that limited?
Doesn't look like it's limited. Doesn't look like it's limited. I don't think that.
Really?
I don't think cattle is limited. Because it comes in
That must be a lot.
denominations of 1 and 3 in the board
Yeah.
game, right?
And there's a lot of 3 pieces.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 3 pieces. Okay.
Paying 2 kind of monument. The zoning restriction seems interesting. I guess that's going to become important at some point. But again, it costs 2 cattle. I think I need something right now that gets me cattle. But I'm already at 26. You can never take something that puts you beyond 40. But I think I could still do some shenanigans here. Pay only 1 cattle per good bought. No matter what the price is. That also seems strong. So that would bring down the price of cattle. This would give me turn priority. You know what? I'm just gonna get a Legua. Let's just get a Legua and not overthink this. There you go, a Legua. I pray to you. I use the specialist. Confirm choice. Did that, I think. Yep. You have heard. Use specialist. I already used it. Not enough cows to add. Oh, you can do that more than once?
Yep, up to 3 times.
Oh, right. Well, I like that. And I guess I still can't place a craftsman. So I'm just going to build another monument. Why not? I guess I don't really. Oh God, I wish I could build within my range, but I definitely can't in this case. So that's 2 steps removed. Woof. What if I go here? That's only 1 step removed. Doesn't seem great to do that. So maybe I still want to build up my network. Yeah, let's build up my network. Let's do this. Doop. Okay, end turn. Okay, there you go. It's to you, Brian. So I just built another.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to just expand my network up there so I can reach different things.
Yep.
But even then, like, it's just you still have to pay the cattle to use it, right? That's the rough part.
Did I already mess something up? Select a monument to raise. Click. Choose a craftsman to produce a ritual good. Click. Oh, choose the resource. Right. Okay.
Choose the resource?
No monument. Okay, yeah. You have to choose like the craftsman when you're raising the monument, the craftsman consumes a resource.
Oh, right. And you have multiple options, right?
Yeah.
How? And you don't have to pay to use that craftsman, right? Because it's your craftsman. Is that true? Is that so? Because I remember when those craftsman tiles come out.
I did have to pay. Yeah.
Did you set the price for that at some point?
I did. I set it to 1. Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting because it's nothing. I mean, there's a 1 on it, but I don't. Oh, it's there's a gray outline around it. That's probably what indicates that it's yours. Trying to figure out.
Yeah, because that is pretty subtle compared to the actual game.
Very subtle. Yeah, because I guess in the physical game you put like a token of your color on it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So I raised, but let's see here. Am I going to choose a god or a specialist yet?
I mean, you have 3 cattle. You could.
Really thinking hard about that Django. I guess at this point, I'll just gonna wait till the God moment is right until I actually receive my calling.
I mean, it's true. You don't have to worry
You
about
guys
that
are
right
locked
now,
in.
because yeah, we're already
Yeah,
locked in. It's not like we're gonna
yeah.
steal any of the existing gods away from you. So if they don't really give you any benefit yet, I guess it's
I thought Builder was good, but now that I'm looking at it, it's like it's only good if you're. I mean, how is that? How does that even pay for itself? You have to pay two,
well, to this card, it comes back, right? That's the thing that you mentioned. That if you do that,
right? But I'm spending two to activate it,
it's
and
true.
then I get two back. So what's like the net benefit?
First two cattle of each new craftsman. Each new craftsman. So you if you
Oh,
right,
But like, how many craftsmen could I do in one turn?
it's true. You can only do one, right?
I'm a
I
little
don't.
confused
It's
by
true.
the
I
net.
don't understand it either.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna keep waiting on these decisions. I'm like in real life. I'll just procrastinate.
Yeah, it seems weird now that you mention it. Pay two cattle to activate for this turn. If active, do you pay the two cattle onto? You don't pay that. Oh, you pay the two cattle onto that builder as well, right?
Oh, you do? Oh,
Yeah. So you
okay.
get
Well,
the. Well, it's because I also yeah. Yes. Same with the herd on mine, right? I pay two cattle on that to gain one more, and then I get the three back. So yeah, you'll get them back. They're just
but you've
locked
got to
in. Yeah.
Florida. Yeah.
You don't pay rarely in this case I think means pay to the supply. I think it's
Yeah.
only for transport through hubs, I think.
Sounds right. Looking in the rule book, the physical rule book, it doesn't explain the
Oh wait, I already did that.
specialists at all.
Great rules available here.
Oh, yes, it does. Okay.
okay. So when you set up a craftsman, I've got what I'm thinking here is setting up a craftsman in the upper right. I was going to set up an ivory carver along those the two elephants in the upper right. Um, so after I select that, it has confirm price 1, 2, or 3 cattle.
That's what anyone would have to pay to use the craftsman, right? Including yourself. Which
Okay.
now this makes a lot of sense that what was the one? That Anansi is amazing, right? So you can set the prices of all your craftsmen to 3. Although you also want people using them, right? So
Right. Yeah, you don't want to lowball it, but you don't want to price people out of range.
right, because I guess that's money you get from
Well,
them.
you can always raise, but you can never lower. Also,
Mm.
Except for when you have, wasn't there something here on pickup and at the beginning of your turn you may raise lower prices. So Ziva allows you to adjust them
hmm.
on your
I'm gonna
craftsman
go.
technology cards. Yeah.
I'm gonna go in the mid. Well, and I don't have Ziva either. I already locked out on God, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick 2 for the middle to confirm price on that. Um, and then I guess can I choose a specialist? If I do,
I mean, do you have one?
I don't have one yet, so
So
I guess if I
you
do
can.
yeah, if I do shaman to place 1 resource for 2 cattle, seems like that could maybe be good.
Keep in mind that you have to use it right away.
Yeah.
But you also have 7 cattle.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got money
Engai,
to
I mean,
burn.
Engai seems strong, right?
So if I do confirm choice off that,
So is
and
Shaman really
then
the only way to add resources to the board? There's no like standard action for that.
It looks like it.
Wow, that's wild. Given that like these things chew up
Well, the same
resources.
thing with Rain Ceremony, right? That's the only way to get water tiles.
Or is this X going to reset off this clay at the end of the turn?
It is.
Permanent. Oh,
It
okay. Well, that
is.
explains.
I mean, that would
All
be
right.
that would be wild. Or
That would be
I'm not.
brutal.
I mean, I say this, and of course, I don't know it 100%, but I
No,
think
I think you gotta be right. There's no way it could
yeah, I think
be
it's per.
gone
I think
on.
that's per turn because otherwise, there's just no way, right? Like
Yeah,
even like a cursory glance at this board tells me that we would like be
math don't math.
we'd be mining out the world in like 2 turns or 3.
Yeah.
Wow, the verisimilitude's incredible.
All right. So yeah, I want to add a resource. I guess. Do, do I want to triple down on elephants up in the upper right, given that there's not much elsewhere, or do I want to add something else? Guess. Man, if I am trying to think about craftsman placement here too, and about what could make
Because they also
sense.
never go away, right? So this is the part where
Right.
this is why mildly it feels like food chain, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like putting down these things and they're just gonna stay there,
They're
right?
just gonna stay there
Even if the
forever.
wood carver, or it's not the wood carver, right?
So
Even if that potter gets upgraded to a vessel maker, potter doesn't go away. It's just that the potter is no longer useful.
curious if I put this elephant right here, and I
We can't see what you're doing, just for the
no no
record.
yeah
We
well
don't.
I'm about to end the turn, but I'm gonna put the elephant up there and confirm in turn, and I wonder if by putting the elephant there I block out another craftsman from being adjacent to the one that I have. I don't know if that means anything. If someone
I
wanted
mean,
to,
so I assume you set the price to 2. Is that what that
yes,
means? Okay.
yes,
But now you also have Here's the thing about you putting the other elephant next to it. So you place an elephant next to it, right?
yes,
I guess that means you can use it 3 times in a turn, right?
yes.
Got it. Okay. So I guess you need a lot of ivory for whatever it is you're planning.
Whatever. Yeah, some master
Because
plan
to
coming up
raise the
at some point.
monuments, if I understood this correctly from what Brian said earlier, to raise the monuments you need unique uh, goods. Is that true, Brian, or is it just goods overall?
Just goods, I think,
Oh,
but
okay, okay.
don't quote me on that.
I mean, that's just maybe in my brain I added onto that. How can I score points?
I mean, if you can get a monument up to level 5 or whatever, there aren't that many.
Right.
It's like there's more levels than there are resources, so it must be just
Yeah,
numbers.
I'm looking at the rules right now, but I'm also like it's my turn, so I'm just gonna not care about that right now. Okay, so I have 5 resources, but now I assume that because I have Elegua, I can pay up to 3 cattle of your first turn order bid from the common stock. So that sounds to me like, yeah, I can go all the way up to 8. So I think I just do Elegua, right? Like I don't think I add to that. I just say if you guys really want to go for, if you guys want to go first, knock yourself out, right? So I have to earn. Oh, Jesus Christ, end turn. Okay, there you go, Steve. It is to you.
Uh,
How did I fall into last place for this?
Good question.
that is a good question.
Because you weren't last, right?
No.
I don't know. Oh, it has to do with the because there is no
Is it
where
VR?
there it's VR and it's I think there's something about when you're tied for VR, which you two are not. Oh, it is VR. It is VR. So
So it's
we're tied.
reverse
It's
VR.
VR. Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
how this works.
fucked up.
I
I'm
mean,
trying the low VR strat here.
it is, but it's like yeah, the higher the VR, the closer to the front you are on this, right?
Oh,
So
I wasn't expecting that, and I certainly
like
didn't catch that roll.
this is such a. I mean, this is so splatter that it hurts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like wait,
Yeah.
what? Oh, right. You have to have if your victory point requirement is higher, then you're gonna get more cattle for that in the bidding of the gods phase. What?
I
Like
think that like Splotter is like the dwarf fortress of board games, and that like every single decision they make just completely reinforces the aesthetic over and over, and there's never any
they just
deviation from
they
the
don't.
ridiculous.
But it's also like they look at this and then they think they look at the dynamics, and then when they see what it means dynamically, they look at each other and laugh, and then they
Yeah.
just leave it that way.
Evil laugh.
Yeah, like, ha, look at this. They're never gonna get it.
Yeah, they're like, this is great, actually.
This is amazing. Let's keep that.
So Steve
I ducked
passed.
it. I passed.
All right,
I mean,
so
Steve
let's see
just
here.
loves.
I bid
Steve loves cattle more than
Sure.
Steve's.
I like my cows. I like my cow.
I
Definitely.
bid 4. I go first for 2.
Well, it passes to me, and I can decide whether I.
Oh, is it not once? It's not once around. Oh,
I think it keeps. I think it keeps going. I don't.
Okay.
You know what? I don't know. I think
Okay.
I'd have to pass. I think I would still get the option to bid 5. I think because I have 5, right? But you can test that theory by putting in 4, and you'd be paying 2 to go first, right?
don't think I care that much. All right. Pass. Oh, I'm going second. What the hell?
Well, you're going second because you passed.
Oh, because
second.
Steve passed first. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
Okay, so now I could raise monuments, and literally says raise monuments. So if I had access and had enough to pay for, I could raise more than one monument, right? But that doesn't
Really?
increase my income, right? The income is always the highest monument. So that's another reason why you don't want.
Wait, because like, what is there's no cost to a monument, right?
Here's the cost. Again,
You just get a VP.
effing splotter. No. Check this out, and check me on my theory crafting. Check me on my logic here. The more monuments you have, the harder it is to get them all to a level so that your income, because your income is your lowest monument, right?
Oh,
See, they just do this all the time, right?
thank you. So I'm building tall this game.
So you understand what I'm saying? They're doing this. They
Yeah.
do this all the time.
I love that it's never in the rules. It's like you gotta,
Of course
like,
not.
you read between the lines or experience it painfully the first time you play.
Sometimes they put, sometimes, I mean, I remember when we were playing Horseless Carriage, somewhere it said tips, right? I don't know. Does this have that? Because I do have the rules PDF open. I'm going to go all the way.
Well, they're just pandering to the
all-
casual market.
Strategy
Put
tips.
tips.
Ready?
Okay.
Ready for these? Let's look at. I'm going to read them out loud.
Oh wow.
Okay, because at the end of the PDF, there's strategy tips, which they always put in there, right? Okay, first play. Remove all specialists and only use 6 gods. Okay, cool. We didn't do any of that. Remove all specialists. Oh, so you can't get the upgraded version. So we didn't do that. Good job, me, for not reading the strategy tips. Do not bid too much on turn order at the start of the game. Did not follow that at all. Do not bid too little towards the end. Okay, that doesn't really. Again, that's such a splatter tip, right?
Right.
Third tip. Play secondary craftsmen. Don't remove all specialists and use only 6 gods. Okay. Place secondary craftsmen. That's what I meant by specialists, not specialists. Secondary craftsmen are the upgraded craftsmen. Place secondary craftsmen to increase the cost of raising monuments and stop players who are advancing too fast. And I would like to point out that 2 is spelled with 1 O in this context.
Yep.
Do not forget to erect new monuments. It is hard to win if you build too few monuments. So vague. So vague. Near the end game, consider diamond cutters. Victory points are forever. Oh, because the diamond cutters are worth... A diamond cutter alone is worth 3 victory points.
Right.
So right now, if you look at the victory points... Yeah, Brian has 4. Right, so it's 2... You have 3... Wait. You have 3 for your level 2 monument and 1 for your craftsman, right? That's where your 4 victory points are coming from right now. Okay. Every god has a strength. Sorry, what?
Oh no, I was gonna say it's weird that you raise your VR, but then you get victory points. But I guess the VR determines the bidding order, so yeah, I guess it makes sense to not just have it as net
sort of.
VR.
Sort of, right? And here, if I look on the reserve, yeah, these things are all worth 1 victory point. So that's where one of your victory points is coming from because the potter belongs to you.
Oh, right. And so the diamond cutter is the net positive. All the other ones are net negative on victory gap.
Every god has his strengths, but each can be countered by other gods or combinations of play. Okay. Strategy tips. I feel like they should just say vague strategy tips.
Yeah.
It's hard to win on your own. Use infrastructure built by other players to your advantage. I feel like you don't really have a choice. Cal makes the world go round. Figure out early how you're going to pay for raising your monuments. Okay, I thought about and then instantly failed on it. Okay, so I'm not going to build. I think at this point I have to raise a monument, right? I want to place a craftsman too, but I think I have to raise a monument. I think I'm going to place a woodworker at some point. But yeah, let's raise a monument. Just 1 second, let me think about this. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I do want to place a craftsman, but I also want to raise. I want to raise monuments because I need to get. I want to get a higher income because right now, again, Brian, you mentioned this, right? Like your lowest monument is your cattle income, right? Is that
I
true?
think it's your highest. Is your
Oh, it's your highest.
yeah.
Got it. So if I raise 1 to 2, my income will be 2. It's not like the ones pull me down.
That'd be a hard hole to get out of at this point.
It
Yeah.
would, but I think it would make, from a spotter point of view, it would make total sense.
It is peculiarly generous.
Okay, now I'm curious. Now I have to look at this because it's in the phase 3 revenue. Collect all payments. Players take all the cattle on their technology card specialists and God in front of them and add them to their stock. Collect income. Each player collects 1 to 5 cattle as income. The amount is determined by the highest monument. Yeah. For each level on this monument, player gains 1 cattle. The number of monuments a player has built is irrelevant for the income determination. So I misread that. So yeah, I'm going to raise monuments because I definitely want to get some more money.
Right.
I think I'm going to have to... I think I'm going to have to pay this. So if I want it from here, I can get it directly, right? If I want it from here, I have to actually use one of you as a hub. I'd like to select a monument to raise. So I'm actually curious about what that would mean, right? Because to here, yeah, there you go. Choose a craftsman to produce or to produce a ritual good. So then I'd have to go here, which is 1 away, or here that's 2 away. Whereas if I raise this, so let's cancel raising. If I raise this one, I can pick from here, and it's just 1, right? Updating smart requires 1 ritual good. Current cost 0 hubs. New object would get 1. Cancel raising or restart current raise. Oh, I still have to pick the... Yeah, got it. So let's just pick that and confirm. Okay. So I raise that to 2. I can choose a specialist. So is there any... Do I want a second specialist? I do like the builder now that I understand how it works. You know what? I am gonna get that builder. But that's the thing. If I get the builder now, I have to use it, but I can't, because I can't build a craftsman because I already did the. Yeah, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's just use my specialist for sure. Confirm my choice. Actually, do it again. Right? Can only do it twice, but that'll give me a nice amount of money. I'm not going to pick a specialist. I'm going to end my turn. Yep, there we go. To you, Ryan. Interesting. Okay, so it's starting to click a little bit. I still feel like if I was those 2 guys, I would have said the lowest monument is your income. That would have felt more splatter to me.
Well, I guess it sort of begs the question of counterplay against people. If they're rushing to raise their monuments, what counters are there available to counterbalance against that, right?
Well, it would also be wild that the +7 god allows you to build 2 monuments, right? It's not raise 2 monuments, it's build 2 monuments.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Yeah, let's do it. I don't really understand what I'm doing, but going for it. I'm building
All right, what are you doing?
building the vessel maker, and I'm raising the price of the original potter to 2 and setting the vessel maker at 2 also.
Oh, you can. So every time you do it, you you can set the price up. You can up your prices.
Yeah.
Interesting. So weird.
And man, I'm just gonna like just waffle
I mean, you're the only person right now who has.
forever on God. I'm
Actually,
just gonna end this game an atheist, just the way I came in.
I mean, there's nothing that
Okay,
says
cool.
you have to worship a god, right?
Yeah.
It's an
I don't know. I
interesting.
feel
It's thematically
I
interesting to say that you're not going to worship a god.
I kind of want to see like if I can get like a low VR thing going, then
Right.
maybe just pull
I
Django at
mean,
the last
I feel
second.
like
But
if
like,
you here's so let me just say one thing. Not having a god, you just get the god that gives you -2 VR, right?
yeah, well, that's what I'll do.
All right.
If once I get kind of in striking
Because it
distance,
feels
but
like
not
that would
now.
be the like what's that? Easy going, no special benefits. Second of 4 tiebreakers and in-game scoring. Second of 4 tiebreakers. Oh my god. Okay.
All right, I feel like I'm just gonna take builder because I'm getting some weird FOMO on the specialist though, and this is only 2 VR, so
Yeah.
I'll try it. Probably would have been. Wait. Okay, I should reset my whole turn then, because I should have done the specialist first.
First.
Yeah. Okay. That, that, that. Or did I have to? Did I actually use the specialist?
What?
No, I didn't. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Choose specialist,
We just don't. Yeah,
builder,
I was just like,
confirm choice,
I don't think I
use
see anything
specialist,
any intermediate stages are not stored. I think because I
use
also noticed
specialist
that
page.
when I reloaded the page mid turn, it basically reset me to the beginning of the turn.
So I said use specialist, and it said it brings up. It's just not like letting me pick it. Why can't I use the specialist?
You already used it, remember?
Mm, did I?
So here's the
It's
thing:
because
when
it's
you
giving me the choice.
interesting, because for me
Use
it was
specialist.
you have to. You remember that first time I was like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to use
yeah.
it,
But
but it auto used it
there are
once, right?
there are two that there's an exception for on that.
Okay.
It might be builder, but either way, so I have it. I click use specialist. It shows 2 cows on it,
So it's
and my
already
cows are
active. It's already active.
right.
So you don't
But
have to
then
activate it, right? So now what it's saying is if you now do a new craftsman, the first 2 cattle of the new craftsman should go onto the builder.
right, and I don't think I'm seeing that, or maybe I
I mean,
see now I'm at 0. I'm at 0.
again, I don't see that.
Yeah, so at the end of my turn, I've spent 6. Oh, but it would go onto the.
It would go on the card.
Wait.
So now open up your tab at the top and see
Oh, it
if the
has
card.
4 on it. Okay,
See,
that makes sense. All
that's
right,
what
all
I
right.
meant. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
So
gotcha.
it does automate quite a bit and doesn't really communicate it, which
Yeah.
again is pretty standard for online board gamers. But
Okay.
once you know what it's doing, it's pretty clear. Okay, Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also
All
a
right. So
chance
yeah,
that the implementation on. So I'm playing Wir sind das Volk on BoardGameCore.net, which maybe the implementation is better. But all I can say about BoardGameCore.net is that it took me an inordinate amount of effort to convince my ISP that BoardGameCore.net wasn't a phishing website.
I think it's
Like,
also one of those sites where if you like add or don't add the dub, like something goes haywire, like they don't know what a CNAME is or something. So
I had to add it to the exception list on my router twice. And then a day later, it allowed me to register. Before that, anytime I clicked submit on register for an account, it would just straight up show me an AT&T page that was like, no, you're not allowed. This is a known. And I'm like, I get it. It's not HTTPS, but come on.
wow.
Right. Anyway, it's a great
They
site.
got rid of net neutrality. That's what we're dealing with.
So weird. And and they have Antiquity on there too. So that's why I mentioned Antiquity the other day as an option.
Do you own that gaming?
I it was put upon me the same way probably you came to the Great Zimbabwe, right? Like at some point
Yeah.
someone was like, "Hey, I'd really like your copy of Chaos in the Old World and
Ooh.
Formula D." And I was like, "I've played neither of those games, and I've owned them for over a decade."
Oh
So I was
man.
like, and I think I got in exchange, I got Antiquity and something else good. And I was like, I'll take a splatter over. I know some people love Chaos in the Old World.
Yeah, I've been trying to get it for a while.
I'm sorry, I don't.
That's
I
okay.
no
No,
longer
because
have.
that's like a $300 game. I mean,
It's
that's not
but
like
it
a
seems
little.
wild to me that it is, right, because I get it that it's probably like the cult of Eric Lang, but
Ugh.
I don't think that that game is. I mean, I'd probably play whatever Blood Rage or Rising Sun any day over that because it just looked like super grimy weird stuff, and I was like, I
Yeah,
don't think I'm into that anymore.
that's
Um,
true. That is
but
a
it's
hard aesthetic.
four player asymmetry was, I guess, at the time unheard of, right? So,
Mm,
Steve, are
fair.
you there? Are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I was just
no, I
like,
was letting.
it's your turn, and I was
Yeah, I
like,
was letting you all talk. I
okay.
was letting you all go through it, and I was kind of running through some different.
Oh no, we're just this is just it turned from from board games on Twitch to just chatting.
There you
Um,
go. I don't know if this is a good decision or not, but that's how I play these games, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I placed another. I'm gonna take that second vessel maker before it gets locked out, and I'm going to confirm price for two, and then place it over on the left. So I'm hoping, if I'm doing things right.
I'm looking on BGG right now at my trades on the stream, but that's fine. View your trades, view all trades,
Okay.
and now I'm just gonna try to see what I traded it for. Oh no, Formula D and Merchant. I traded Formula D and Merchant Venus for Barrage, and I got Antiquity and Tricarion for Archipelago and Chaos in the Old World, which I think was a good trade because I've also never played Archipelago. Um,
All right, and then
okay,
I have
you
put a bid for the for one cattle for the next turn.
wow. So if I put down all three, you would get two. So I think I'm only gonna put down two. Yeah, I'm only gonna put down two. Let's do that. Confirm bid. There we go. Okay, it's to you, Brian. Wait, so what did you
Oh,
do? What did you all do? What did you do? You rate? Did you? I'm looking at your board. Oh, you added another craftsman.
Yeah, I added a vessel maker to the left,
Oh,
and I
interesting.
put and I put another resource over there, but I don't know that it's actually being used. It came up on the UI as being used, but it didn't show up on the count.
I didn't
So
even
I don't know if I
see
did that
that.
right.
How did you get the vessel? Oh, you can put the vessel maker anywhere.
yep.
Yeah, and Brian opened it up by taking the first one, so that's why I
Well, the
took the.
interesting thing is it's so far away from your monuments.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
I love it.
So I think I'm gonna let's see here. I'm gonna make this interesting. I'm gonna bid three.
Ooh, guess I could consider whether I want to do four, but I might just pass. Oh wait, it's Steve first. Interesting,
Or
interesting. Um,
or how? I mean, you know what? Brian hasn't gone first yet. I think Brian, I'll let you have it.
Okay, okay.
I'll speak for yourself. I still get to figure out whether I
Hmm.
want to. I mean, I think going second is fine, right? I think I'm gonna pass. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, well, I better make use of this going first now.
Yeah, you get to go first. We all
Like
got two.
the dog caught the car or whatever.
So wait, so at this point, just so I understand, so now that we have two vessel makers on the board, that means that the whatever the smaller version of that is, the sorry, vessel maker. Interesting.
Wait,
Oh no,
what?
yeah, pot. So it means the potter is no longer useful, correct? Right?
It's not true.
You can still use the potter.
Because I think that so what the interface is telling me is I'm trying to actually raise my monument right now. And what it's letting me do is I can pick the vessel maker and then I pick a clay and it consumes the clay
Hmm.
Then it's letting me pick the potter as the second ritual good,
I
and it's
just
letting me pick a clay for it. And then it says after I do all that, it says not enough cows for any available craftsmen. So I don't really understand what's going on because I start with not enough cows for any available craftsmen. What does that mean?
Is that first one that you activated no longer available because it was already activated up front?
Let me pick. Oh, it's because it's the fucking price is too high. Oh god.
that's your own fault. Um,
Ugh, how can I
Highlight
get 2
just
cows really quick?
victory points on the track recording. Okay, I'm reading the section here right now.
Okay.
The number of rich ones are kind of set raise level.
Oh wait. Okay. All right. It's time. I just found God.
To raise a level.
Did you have an
from
epiphany,
monument.
Brian?
Yes, I found. I prayed that a god would let me do this action this turn, and Zviza came. Zviva came along and said, "I'll let you lower those prices on your
Ah,
goods." Okay,
yes.
I'm gonna try. Let's
It
try
says here
this.
secondary versus primary. As soon as there is secondary craftsman of a certain type on the board, the corresponding primary ritual good can no longer be used for rituals. For example, as soon as the throne maker is present, you may no longer use carved ivory in a ritual. That's what it says in the rules, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's letting me pick it and then kind of saying, "Well, you need more."
Yeah, so it's probably not gonna. Yeah.
I do want to double check here because I really want to get that monument raised, but I don't think I can do it. Raise monuments, cancel raising. Okay, raise monuments. So I pick
Sorry, to use a
monument. Yes.
secondary craftsman, you must both pay the secondary craftsman and provide a primary ritual good to the secondary craftsman.
Oh, I see. It's letting me pick the primary that goes into the
Yeah,
secondary. It's not letting me pick the primary
that's
as.
wild.
I understand.
To do
Okay.
so, you
You
must
know
reach
what?
and pay a primary craftsman of the corresponding type.
I
And the
unfound
craftsman
God.
must
Okay.
be in a range of secondary craftsmen. You must use hubs
You
to
lost your
transport.
faith? That was cool.
Wow. So
Yes.
to use the secondary craftsman, you need to provide a good from the primary. So they need the good from the primary, and then they can process that. So you pay both. Oh
Yes.
my god! Yeah, you guys can go screw yourself. I'm gonna start my own shops. This is the moment where I have to start my own shops because I can't. That seems bonkers to pay you guys for that.
Okay. Ozzy said the price at. Sorry, this is. I'm sorry this is taking forever, but I just need a math. I'm trying to figure out the math here. Ozzy said his price at 2.
You all set
So I
the
want to raise
prices
my
at two.
monument.
They're all two.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out where all this cost is coming from. So his cost me 2, but
Oh my
it's
god.
4. Why is
Here's
it
no.
4? I
Here's the
have to go
thing.
through 2 hubs.
Because you have
I
to go through two
2 hubs.
hubs. You have to go through
Yeah.
2 hubs to get the primary good to the secondary craftsman.
Yeah. Only 1 cattle per good bought.
Why wouldn't you just
Okay.
raise it using your own? I mean, you're just trying this out,
It's
right?
like I can't lower it enough because I'm only using one of my own goods or whatever.
Right. So you need the
I'm gonna
primary.
see if I can do it with a Nazi. I'm gonna see if I can do it with a Nazi.
Wait, but you need. So you need 2 different types of goods, right? So you
So I
need
can do it. Okay, so if I take a Nazi as a god, I can do it. Somehow it maths out to where I can.
a Nancy pay only 1 caliber. Oh yeah, because it's super strong. Like basically,
Yeah.
it reduces all your prices to 1, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm
There
doing it.
you
I'm doing
go.
it.
You found God.
Yep.
Back
You
again.
found you
Okay.
found it. You found a capitalist God. Like.
Oh yeah.
Well, wow.
Right.
Well, not quite, but yeah, it's like I'm gonna sidestep all these prices. Wow. Okay, so now we're learning a lot about this, right? So,
I could.
man,
By
we're
the
gonna.
way, I don't know how you could ever do that IRL on a tabletop.
I think
That's what we say a lot with Splatter games, though,
I think
right?
it's
And really,
doable. I think it's doable. The thing that I'm starting to realize is we're gonna run out of space here so fast.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's
space is
the
at a premium for sure.
that is the nuts part, right? That's the nuts part.
Yep.
Oh Jesus Christ! So what do I do here? I think I have to start a new line of. I have to start a new line of goods. I just have to start a new line of goods because everything else is bonkers, right? First thing I have to figure out is whether I think I need another specialist. So I don't care about the rain ceremony. Pay 2 cattle to ignore a zoning restriction when building a new monument. I think I like that, and it's only +1. But I'm not building a new monument, so again, it doesn't make sense. Because I definitely want to place craftsmen. So I'm going to place craftsman, and I'm not going to build you guys' stuff, right? Because I want you to need it. So no ivory carver. No throne, although a throne maker, but that's also bonkers because now I have to start using your ivory carver over there. So I think I go for the diamond cutter is too early. According to the strategy, I should not be doing this until the late game because it also costs a lot. So I think I'm gonna get the wood carver. Yeah, let's just do the wood carver. So now I can rotate it. I can move it around. There's wood here. That puts me within one of mine with one range. What happens if I rotate it here? Nope, then I'm no longer in range. Interesting. Cancel. I just want to see why I can't place it. Oh, because it Jesus Christ. Right, it has to be within range of wood, obviously. But there it would only be a range of 1 wood. Up there it'd be in range of 2. But then I'm also making it available to you both. Nope, that's fine. That's fine. But then that won't fit. If I do this, do like that. Let's place it here. That won't work for there. That will. Fine, let's place it here. Confirm. Set prices. Yeah, again, I'm not going to go for you guys' nonsense, right? Just going to set it to... I don't want to pay 2. But you guys need that. You know what? Let's...
You're the richest guy, and you're the cheapest guy.
I am the cheapest guy. You are 100%. So I'm going to use my specialist probably 3 times, of course.
The billionaire clipping coupons.
Why would I not do that? I'm not yet intern. There we go. That's it. I think that's all I can do. Okay, there you go, Steve.
Yeah, I think Herd doing okay. In terms
no, Herd's
of...
good. Herd is good. Legua Herd is a good combo. Of course, now I'm at 33. Oh man, we're all up there, right? So eventually, we're also going to get to a point where we just can't add more tech.
Right.
Oh, they're so
Oh,
interesting,
yeah.
right? We're going to get to a point where we can't add more tech and then getting to victory points. So it's 10 to... Oh, you have 10 because you... Wait, because of all your goods and all your level 3 nonsense, right?
I am trying to understand like how the game... I guess it can't deadlock because you'll just eventually just accrue enough cows.
Yeah, and you'll at some point I think you'll also just start building more monuments and raising those, right? Because it's easier to raise them from 1 to 2, but also the delta is not that big.
Well, I mean that was like just my thought though. Was that no? I guess there's no. I was just concerned like, oh, what if I guess we can each take like 2-ish more builders.
Yeah,
before we
like
hit
you mean craftsman? Yeah, like at some point
Yeah.
we're gonna hit the ceiling, and then it's potentially questionable that we're even going to be able to raise them to level 5, right?
Yeah.
In which case you'll have to build more monuments, and then it just becomes a race.
Yeah, and that's when
This is
turnover
so
is gonna
different. So again, the thing that I can say that's probably like my biggest compliment again is that the discrepancy between what I think the game's going to play like and what the game actually plays like after reading the rules and watching a rules explainer in a spotter game is like the largest delta of any design team I can imagine, right? Because I'm just like, this is not playing out at all like I expected it to.
Yeah, I agree.
It's playing out much more interesting than I expected it to, which again is just me saying that they're very good at what they do. But I guess that's what you can do when it's not your main job, right? Like they don't need. I don't think Splatter needs their games to sustain their livelihood, right? That's why they take forever, and that's why they can take forever, right?
They're like the Duke Nukem of board games, is what you're saying?
Ooh,
Sorry, Daikatan.
That's a
Duke
dark.
Nukem 4. Sorry.
That's a dark comparison.
Or whatever it was.
Because the later Duke Nukems are actually they're not good.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys here are like, if you want to find a video game equivalent, I mean maybe it's Michael Bro. right?
That is a
Yeah.
good analog.
Because I feel like Michael doesn't have to. I given the sales numbers on Michael's games, I can think it's pretty safe to. I haven't seen Michael in like last time I met Michael once in New York. It was probably like in 20. I want to say 2014, so like 10 years ago, and at the time I think it was already clear that he wasn't that games weren't the thing that's sustaining his livelihood, right? They don't sell enough, which basically means he can make whatever he wants and take as long as he wants, and then the people who like his games like them a lot, which sounds similar to Splotter, right?
I don't know with these prices. Maybe they are making bank. No,
I mean, there may be.
I,
I don't
yeah,
think
no,
so
I
though,
can't
right?
imagine. Yeah,
At least
the
not to
price
the
is a
yeah.
barrier.
At least not to the point where, and they're doing no marketing, right? Like, what the
No.
boxes look like on the back. They're hilarious. It's just white. It's just nothing.
Yeah, there's not a
Like,
lot. I'm not going there. Brian, it's up to you.
Um,
oh, you
I'm
started at
good.
3. Wow. Well, I think I go at least a 4, right? Oh, now I'm
Think?
last. I'm last on the block here. Okay.
Oh,
I have to put out more more craftsmen if I want to retain my dominance here. It's almost like
yeah,
it's so weird
yeah.
that I'm like, oh, I want my victory point condition to go up. No, I don't. Oh wait, maybe I do.
Hey, maybe you do.
God damn it, Splotter.
That's good. It's a little. There's just a little tension to everything.
Yeah,
Just a little trade off to everything.
yeah. It's very interesting. Wow, you passed.
Well, you may notice a significant gap in our relative
I have noticed that. Well, I'm
how
not. I'm not.
herd
I'm
sizes.
not going to pass because I can get to 4 for 1. All right, so I am going to use. I am going to use that, and my guess is that Ozzy's going to take those 3. He's going to take those 3 cows to go second. Is my guess.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna pay
No,
5.
bleed him, bleed him, bleed him.
I mean, I have to make use of the Legua, right? It just seems nuts to not do this. I want to go first for sure.
I was gonna say it's not really bleeding him though, since it's from the common stock though, right?
Well, it
Like,
wasn't that just now wasn't bleeding me. If you go to 5 now, I'm pretty sure I'm
if I
gonna
go to
pass.
5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put 6. I'll give you a little spoiler there. I'm not gonna put in 6.
Yeah, I mean, I just go up to 2 for 5, and that leaves me 9 left.
I mean, you're gonna get. Here's what's gonna happen: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're gonna get 4 back, right? So again,
Yeah,
it's similar to
I'll
what
do
we
it.
said earlier. You're gonna be paying 1 for going first. We all get 4, and now I have to figure out whether 1, 2, 3. Because I
Oh, you
wouldn't
did
go.
bid. Oh,
Yeah, so if I go for
you did.
5,
Oh,
I will pay 1 to go first, which I think I can do. But also, I'm
damn.
giving you so many cows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah, because it's a difference of. Yeah, I'm just gonna confirm pass. Although, remember, let me remind you all. Not that we're there yet at all,
Don't bid too few.
but it's like there was a strategy tip that said, "Do not bid too little on turn
Don't
order.
bid too.
Don't bid
Yeah.
too much in the start, and do not bid too little towards the end."
But where are we?
Yeah, I
We're
was
Are
like,
we
where
in the
are we?
middle? Are
definitely
we in the
not
middle? Or are we at the start?
definitely not at the end, right? We're definitely not at the end. We're like at 6 to 6 to 10.
Okay.
But you are in the lead, right? You're like I would even say comfortably in the lead with 4 points.
Maybe, but my tempo is all effed up now.
Well, you're eventually going to have to build monuments, right? And you can't build 2 because you prayed to the wrong god.
Okay.
My monument's almost touching the clouds right now, and that is because of my Lord and Savior Anansi.
You remember that band? Of course you do. You're as old as me. Skunk Anansi?
Which one?
You remember Skunk Anansi from the 90s?
I mean, I definitely know the name, but I don't remember much about it. But was it some sort of? Was it kind of like? Was it like funk metal or
It
something?
was
Or
funk, yeah, funk metal. I think funk metal
okay,
describes it pretty good. But it was
yeah,
like early 90s. It wasn't like a new
yeah.
metal late 90s band. It was like an early 90s
It's
I
like
think.
they're one of those bands where the only reason I know them is because I used to just like I would go from A to Z at a record store just seeing what they had from what I
Nice.
wanted, and I
They
would just
were.
kind of go over them, and I always see the name and be like, that's a funny name.
I remember. I think I may have even. Here's the thing. I may have seen them live. I just don't remember that much from the early '90s. They may have.
Yeah.
I don't remember going to see them explicitly, but there were so many opening bands to the things I used to go to. Okay,
Mhm.
what did you do? What did you do? You built a
So
monument.
I built a monument because that lower portion is getting
Right.
blocked out, and so I wanted to go ahead and get a choke point there
Well, you can always
to go up.
pay to have it transported, right?
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm
So I think at this point, so I put the craftsman out. So I think it's pretty easy for me to raise a monument. The problem is that I have to. Such garbage. I'm going to pay you so much for this, right? That's the thing that bums me out. It's so expensive. I think I'm going to. Wait, it's probably easier if I just get the basic. So let's see. I'm going to raise a monument. It's going to be this one. And I think I can get mine for free. So let's do that first and click that. And then I think I can get hub range 0. I can get this for that, and that's not. Where do I see the total cost?
I thought it showed it up there for a second, but
Did you
did it go away?
see? So I have 11.
I
Let me
think it
cancel
just
it. It
keep
cost me
I
6 total. I'm just trying to understand where the cost comes from. So
right. I
raise
thought I saw the
monument.
six
So I'm
total.
gonna raise. So I'm gonna raise this one. I'm gonna click this and this. So that costs me 2,
Two.
right? 2 total. Oh, it says there 2 total. And now this should cost me 2, 3, 2, 3, right? 2 and 3 because it costs me 2. I need 1 hub to transport it. No, 2 hubs. I need 2 hubs to transport it. So
Right.
4, and that's how I get to 11,
That's how you get
right?
to. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's expensive, and I here's the thing I would like to know, Steve. Do you get those 2? Do they go to you?
We're gonna find out, right?
Because if I click
Um,
this now and this, and I say confirm, it didn't yet, at least.
yeah. I was gonna say it isn't showing up in history because you haven't finalized your turn yet.
Well, let's
But
yeah, we'll look at the raises monument. Oh, but you see it. I summary 2 hubs. Nealon, Ozymandias 2 total 6. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look at the history after it's reset
I
my
guess if
turn.
all else fails, if I mean, we can rewind it if you do it and you don't,
Well, the
you know.
next thing I want to first check is what were the specialists? Nothing useful. So I'm going to use my specialists as per usual. Obviously, as many times as I can, and then I'll end my turn. Confirm end turn. It doesn't say, right? 2 hubs. So it says in the log, in the history, it says that to use your whatever it is over there,
Yeah,
your.
I didn't get anything from that.
Can I just use other people's hubs? Is that income that's maybe on the hub and you get it later as part of income?
I don't know.
Well, in any case, it's Steve's. It's Brian's turn. I'm looking right
Mhm.
now in the revenue. Players on the calendar, technology card specialists.
I really feel like
No, it
this
doesn't look
is
like it.
stupid, but I'm just gonna keep raising that monument.
I mean, why not?
Build your
4 gets you
Tower
to
of Babel
gets you to 13 points already with respect to that.
monument.
So Steve, yeah, I'm wondering because it doesn't say in the income, so maybe you can just use hubs.
Yeah, I guess yeah, maybe.
But then
I
why
mean, I
would you
guess that's
ever?
why would you ever move to block out, right? Well, okay, so now I went to yeah, I went to 15
Well,
because
let's
I
see.
had compare mythologies. So I had so 6, so I had 6 total. 2 god, 3 text, 1 monument. No, I didn't. No, it didn't look like in the revenue part I got anything there
Why did I get plus? Oh, plus 15, plus
for the
non-special.
herd.
Oh, specialist plus 3 techs, plus 3 monument. What's the plus 3 techs? Oh, because I use technology. Oh, because I use technology. You will get the. Why did I get 3? That's the interesting question.
Why did you get? Oh,
So that's the thing, right?
Maybe that's the 3 techs that came in for mine
Well, the
because
thing
I
is,
got.
you would have had it would have had to been 4 for. Oh wait, the technology is the craftsman, isn't it? Isn't it that?
Yeah.
So
So
how
is
do
it
you?
just you just get
I'm wondering right now. I'm trying to piece
how did
this
you get
together, right? Yeah.
yeah, 'cause how did you get 3 if you have a price set of 2? Oh, but because I only pay 1 with my god.
Well, was it 3 to take
But I used it,
the
right?
Right.
to
And so one
transfer
of them
that?
was you and one of them was me. And but I
Oh,
only paid
because you
1
used
instead
me.
of paid 2.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Someone used me and I used myself twice at 1, so that was 4.
Did someone
Okay.
use me? You
Oh wait,
must.
no.
You must
Oh
have.
no, I only used my. No one used
No,
me.
no, no.
Come on,
You
guys.
yeah, but you used me, right? That's why I
Yeah,
got. That's why I got 3. Yeah. So you get
yeah.
nothing for using the hubs. Interesting.
Harsh.
Okay. Well, here we go. It's back to you, Steve. We're back in
Yeah, I'm sort of like
round
reconsidering my
6.
whole strategy of trying to get an elaborate hub network going here if there's no like choking out, no benefit of getting there. I guess it's just for your own network per se, but
I'm looking at
yeah.
these declares.
Hmm, yeah. So Brian's at 9. Where do I want to start this?
So I'm going last for the rest of the game, basically.
Probably.
I don't know. Let's put it at 2. I'll give you a shot to come in at 3.
If anyone can find where the hubs rule is in the PDF, let me know because I'm actually curious about that.
Yeah, I'm looking around.
Oh yeah, it's Brian's turn to figure this out. What am I gonna do with all those cattle? Should I just start buying diamonds? Because it's like I have so much. Like I was expecting to have nothing, and then I totally overdid it on the cattle.
Well, yeah, you had a 15 jump off of because you got 9 alone off of the herd, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I could. Yeah, I mean, maybe I just start putting it into a diamond cutter.
Mm.
Because yeah, your shaman is locking. Oh man, this is also interesting, right? You own the shaman, so you're literally the only person who can put out any goods.
Yeah, but I don't know that I'm seeing the value in that yet. Because
Well,
when I
here's when you're going to see the value in it, right? The second someone starts using diamonds to raise monuments, there's literally only 1 diamond on the whole board, right? So the
right,
second someone uses it, it's gone for the rest of that round. So then turn order matters, right? See what I'm saying?
yeah,
So you adding more diamonds to the board could be good or bad depending on what your plan is. Right
right.
now, because you're only at level 1, you're fine. Wait, what just happened?
I bid 3 to go first.
I mean, I'm definitely bidding 4 at least. There you go. It's back to you, Steve.
I'll go 5.
Here we go.
Ryan, are you up for 6?
Absolutely not.
I think I am.
Wow.
I totally am. There we go.
Yes.
How bad? How bad do we?
Steve.
So if I go, if I go 7 and I have 10 cows for actions after that.
So yeah, there's really no value in building out your own network, right?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it at this phase of play yet.
So I'm just
If
wondering
there
right now.
is.
So it means that, well, you do need to. Hmm.
Let's go 7.
I mean,
Jesus,
there is
dude,
some
what?
interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Go for it. Knock yourself out. You're first.
All right. Well, we all got 9 out of that, so you know. Um, now what to do with that?
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering, like, what is your big grand plan now that you're gonna like
Right.
lock in?
Yeah, the master stroke to justify all
It
that.
is. Yeah, that is. I've had that the one time I went first. I was like, okay, now what? I mean, I
Mm,
think the only reason to go first is to raise the monument. Like anything else is a waste.
It seems like it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like
Uh,
you want to be able to like use up the monuments so that other people, or the resource, the craftsmen, so that other people can't use them.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked. I was expecting more uh, craftsman activity, I guess. But also, right now, I don't see why we would do that until we have to. But I'm just, yeah, Steve, you haven't raised a single monument yet.
yeah, that's yeah, I'm on my way there. I just don't
Well,
know.
the thing is, you're only going to use one resource, right? Because that's all you can do.
That's all I can do. Choose primaries to support this.
Yeah, if you and you don't need to use. It's gonna. Just as a word of advice, I wouldn't spend more than you have to unless you want to like deplete it for us, because you're gonna
Right.
spend 4 to get the. I can't remember the names. You're gonna spend 4 to get the vessel maker, right?
Yeah.
And you don't even need. Well, you do
And I
need to
don't
use the
even
you need the vessel maker, but you could also just straight up use the wood carver
I was
uh,
just using the ivory.
or your ivory carver, right?
Yeah.
That's just cheaper, straight up cheaper.
Yeah, it's just straight up cheaper to do it that way. Um I
And also, you have so much ivory over there, right? Good luck depleting that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I don't know that that was worth paying for first, but we
So
did
the
it
interesting
anyway.
thing is, I always keep on seeing this says raise monuments, right?
Well,
So
right, and that's what I was wondering.
Oh,
Like, is there? It
well,
didn't
now
look
that
like I
makes
had a
sense.
way to do
yeah, so I'm
multiples.
gonna raise monuments. So to get this to
Uh,
4, I would need to use that. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's try this. So let's raise this one to 4. I think I can do this with that. And then I
I
need
just
to
missed
use
the
that
UI
with
queue on that.
that. And then I need to use this with that. And this with that, right? Confirm raising. So now the interesting thing is it doesn't allow me to. So it doesn't seem that I can raise another monument, right? Like it didn't. It didn't.
It didn't allow
I
you
mean,
to
let me
queue up
reset.
multiple.
Let me raise monuments, and I'll start with the smaller one because this is way easier. Confirm raising. Cancel raising. Yeah, there's no. Again, someone might be able to confirm this right now by looking at the rules as I do this, because
Yeah.
there's literally you chose raising monuments, right? And I was only able to raise one. Maybe is there a god that sometimes that will allow you to raise more than one? I'm just wondering why it says raise monuments and plural specifically, right?
says the player may raise one or more of his existing monuments.
Each
That's what the
monument.
physical rulebook says.
Yeah, I'm seeing this.
The only,
That's interesting because I mean I can share the screen with you all, or you
is it
can.
the? Are
No,
you
I'm looking at
lacking the
the.
rich? Are you lacking the ritual goods to do that?
I don't think I am because like this. Wait, can you only use a craftsman once? Because
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe because that craftsman is no longer available once they
Maybe
use it on
but
my
for your
site.
is
turn.
that true? Can you only use a craftsman once? Because I thought you could use a craftsman twice if it had 2 goods adjacent to it,
Well, not for
right?
the same monument. I don't
No,
think.
no, for a different monument,
From a
right?
different monument.
Yeah. So again, like I have a couple of monuments here. If I use
I don't,
the craftsman, well, let's see. Let's try this. I mean, this is going to be very expensive, so it's probably not how I'm going to do it. But yeah, maybe you can only use one per. Let's see. To raise a monument, must provide the correct combination. These are bought from craftsmen in range of the monument being raised. Oh wait, in range. 1, 2, 3. No, that's still one. Yeah, I can still get that there. The player then adjusts victory points. Okay, got it. Required. The number of rituals required to live in a monument to raise a level. Need one ritual. Okay, these gods all need to be different. It's not allowed to use the same type ritual good twice. Okay. Secondary versus primary. Got it. Obtaining. Find them craftsman range. Possibly using hubs. Yeah, but I'm not using it twice, right? So for my 3 to raise it, I'm using the wood carver, the ivory, and the Jesus, I'm so bad with names, and the vessel maker, right? So I have those are 3 different ones. And then for the 1, I was going to use the wood carver again. Right? But it won't even give me the option. Let's see. Let's try this again. 1 here. Oh, Jesus Christ! I have to keep going. So before I hit confirm raising, I just have to keep going, right? So
really?
Yeah. So let's let's do this. Click.
Okay, that was not clear.
There we go. There we go. And I could keep going, right?
Oh dang!
Okay. I kind of wish.
That sucks.
Okay.
Can we reset the whole turn? No, honestly, I mean, given what Ozzy bid, like, he clearly should have like raised his other monuments, as many as he could afford, at least.
I'm just gonna confirm raising because now I went nuts, right? I just went up to 20 victory points. Holy shit!
Right.
Okay, so now I'm gonna use this. Confirm. I already used it. I'm not gonna get another specialist. I'm gonna end my turn. Confirm end turn. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I just raised all 3 monuments, and that's what used up all those resources, right? So basically, the wood carver up there is done.
Right.
Because you can't. I think you can't transport the goods to the craftsman through hubs. I think that has to be within range. Because otherwise, you being able to place more goods wouldn't matter, right?
Okay, so we're not going to rewind.
Oh wait, what?
There's like a rewind button.
How far do you want to rewind? Oh, I see what you're saying. Sure.
I just kind of feel like seems like.
Yeah. No, I got rewind. So
it affects you. Like
no, I'll rewind. I'll rewind. There you go. Okay, we're back at Ozzy's turn.
Sorry about that. Okay, so so if we do the raise, let me run through that.
You're right.
Okay.
So don't wait before you hit confirm.
Before you hit confirm,
go to the next monument, right? So,
got it. That is where. Okay.
Because now you can probably knock yourself out, right? You can probably use up 4 basic goods, right?
Right.
Now I don't know if you can because you only have 10 cows, right? And there's quite a few transport costs involved here, but it'll tell you. Start with the one that's closest to the thing you want to use, and then move away from that and see because eventually it'll tell you no more monuments to raise, or you're out of cows. You're out of cows.
Or you're out of cows. Okay. So yeah, that I can raise 3. Can confirm. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That makes more, now that I understand that that's like a continuation of the same raise. It doesn't really prompt clearly from the UI, but now that makes more sense.
Oh, interesting, because now I can't use that. So I'm going to raise this by 1 from here. I don't even think I can raise the 3, right? Because I don't think there's enough to go around here. Oh wait, no, I can maybe, but this is gonna be very expensive.
The center, the potter, and vessel maker in the center. There's only one.
Yeah, exactly. It's not gonna work. So maybe this will work. Yeah, that'll work, but that's so expensive. Holy crap. Okay. Wait, did that work? Cancel. Wait, what?
Oh, you only need 3. That's right. Okay, yeah. So you could.
Wait, what?
Okay, you can still do the 3.
Can I though?
Well, I don't know if you can afford it, but I mean, you have.
That's not the point. Restart current raise, because the 3 basically. So if I take it from the vessel maker on the left,
yeah.
Does that even work? The vessel maker on the left, can that even get a basic good to it? Because it's not close enough, right?
It needs a basic.
I feel like the vessel maker on the left is unusable, right?
Oh.
Because it needs to be able to supply itself with a basic good that is nowhere close to it. Good splot. That's a splatter move if I've ever seen one, right?
Yeah, I guess
So
you're
that's
right.
not going to work because if I click on it, if I
Unless
go on the
unless
three
you
and I
can
click
hub it.
on it and go there, now if I say I want to raise it from here, oh, choose a primary to support the secondary. Hub distance 2. Okay, this one. Choose a resource, that one. Okay, maybe this works.
So
This
you could
one.
do that
Or you
one
can use
from
the
the.
hub for the primary
It's
resource.
still not working. It's still not working. Why is it not working? Cancel raising, restart current raise, hub range 0. It's asking me to click on something else, and I don't know what I need to click on.
Choose a Do you have another craftsman to do another good? Do you
Oh,
have to
there we
do a
go.
second good?
I did it. I did it. I did it. So now I think maybe I can still do one more. I don't think though. Let's see if that would work. I don't think there's anything left here. No. Restart current raise. I want to raise this as well, but I do not think there's anything left on the board to raise that from. Because that dude can't get anything anymore. Because that has to be within range. But that also, wow, that cost me a lot. But I'm going to confirm it and use a specialist. Confirm. I think I used as much as I could. And then I'm going to end my turn. There we go. Yeah, so now basically we've for the first time I think fully experienced what it means to
Go first.
to go first and second and last, right? Because you're not raising. I mean, even you probably need to start building monuments, right? But like you're not.
Yeah.
There's nothing left to use to raise anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, this game.
This is wild. And also going wide too, right? Because like yeah, you were able to upgrade 2, I was able to do 3, like being able to do multiples in one phase there
Yeah.
now that we've cracked how to do that.
Yeah. No, and
If you
you
have the economy to support it.
I would have gone up to so I'm at 18 victory points right now and I would have been at 20 if you had left me one extra ivory, which that's the thing you used for your second.
Right.
And then what did you use to raise the one in the bottom left?
I have that vessel maker or the what is that?
Why didn't
The
no, my
vessel
question
maker.
is why didn't you use another ivory? Wasn't that cheaper?
It I don't I don't know. I think I was thinking of what was in range of that monument, but I guess that's I could have done the network and closed out the ivory.
Could have hubbed it. Like I think that would
Could
have
have
been
hubbed it. Yeah.
I think that would have been a
Yeah.
lot cheaper. Like I think
It
going
definitely would have
yeah,
because I ended up paying the for the craftsman.
yeah.
I think I paid somebody else on the craftsman for it. So
Well, I mean, which wait, I'm even questioning right now how you what did you use to raise the bottom left corner?
I did
Because
the pot.
the one from the vessel maker that's crossed out underneath the left vessel maker, I used that.
No, it's the one that's next to my monument. There's one that's crossed out right next to the monument. So I did that, and then for the
Oh,
top,
Jesus Christ. Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah, and
Oh
no,
my
and that's
god.
where
Yeah, that was
I
definitely
was
more
thinking.
expensive.
Yes, it was definitely more expensive. No, I had some like 4-dimensional chess idea about blocking those out and like okay, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do to my come to my ivory up top to use it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see what the ultimate revenue is at the end of the turn, but I don't know that that actually played out. I don't know that the math actually maths out
Oh,
there.
you're saying that because you used that you paid the 2 to yourself?
Yes,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that that actually.
I
I don't
feel
know that that
like
actually bears out.
yeah, I feel like you using your network to get a third ivory
Would have been
it would
about
have
the
blocked
same.
me out of ivory, which I needed to get to level 4, right? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That didn't
Okay,
quite
let's
work.
see. You're at 17, 18, 13. Man, still anyone's game right now.
Okay, so
What does the stone carver or the diamond cutter give you? Oh, only +1 BR. It's actually pretty good. Okay, where are we going with this? 30, 23, 19.
Brian has cattle.
Yeah, well, Brian, maybe you do want to go first.
Well,
Although this at this
certainly.
point, I don't even know if I care because I just raised everything. Like, I think I have other things to do. That said, not doing 3 sounds nuts. Because I can definitely, I mean, wait, where did you just, history, 4 cows, 2, I mean, I always have to use a legua, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do 6 just so that I also get the benefit.
Yeah, the Allegua and the herd are definitely a major economic combo up front.
Oh,
It
wait,
feels
no, 1,
like
2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm going to do 5. 5. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, because Allegua gives 3.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like not using Legua makes, I mean, that's the whole point of praying to
that's
Legua.
the whole point.
Right?
Yeah.
Went to 6.
6. Good grief.
Jesus
Brian for
Christ,
7.
you have got to be kidding me.
Getting pricey.
20 cows for actions. Nope, still doing it.
Not enough. Goes to you, Brian. I guess instead of incremental bidding, I should have tried to shoot higher. I should have tried to leave you guys out a little bit more. I don't know that it would have made a difference, but
Yeah, you went to 9. I couldn't, at that point, I was out.
all right, Brian, it's you.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably stupid.
So now I think we're in the end game, right? To go back to the strategy guide, I think we're in the
Right.
end game.
It feels. I mean, it feels like we're accelerating there, right?
Well, because
like if
we already have 2 that are at 4, and raising to 5. Not that anyone could do that right now, because we don't actually have enough different goods. 3, yeah, raising to 5 is plus 8. Plus 8.
Steve's
right?
Steve's thing is not usable, and so no one can get to 5 right now.
Steve's thing is not usable on the left.
Yep.
Oh, it is usable.
I tried to use it.
It is use it. It definitely is usable. I used it. If you use it, you would just have to transport through hubs the basic good to it. So to use it, you click on it, use up a clay, then click on the clay, then click on your little potter, and then use a clay from the potter.
Sorry, you can't use
Oh,
both.
you can't.
You can't use both potters.
Yeah,
That's
it's true. You can't use both potters. Exactly. It has to be 2 different goods. You're right. So right now we're lacking a good to raise to level 5.
So it would be very evil if I did not use my own potter to raise my 1 right now.
Very evil if you did not use your own potter.
Yeah, like if I use this mask, for example.
Well, I don't see what you're saying right now, but I guess that's...
Well, I'm only have a level 1 monument, so I can only use up like one
good, right? Well, but the wood carver has access to 2 wood. It's still usable.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, I don't even know that raising monuments is what I want to do next. I think I'm probably going to I might put out another dude.
Okay, let's see here.
Because I think Steve wants to raise monuments.
Oh, then I think I'll do that, because then if anyone wants the potter, they're gonna have to jack up on the transport costs, I guess. So
open the history.
Trying to figure out what's net worth for you guys.
What this meanness is that you're planning.
No, actually,
plans.
I'm just trying to optimize my cruelty and maximize my cruelty.
Sounds about right.
Welcome to Splatter.
I was about to say, welcome to Splatter.
Yeah. It drives me crazy that you can't raise a monument and choose a tech on the same turn. And I feel like there's this weird brinksmanship of like,
Yeah, you
a
can't. Yeah,
tempo thing of like build a craftsman when you go last,
nope.
and then
It's
go
build,
first the next turn
yeah.
so you can use it before it
Build,
exhausts everything.
build a monument, raise a monument. Yeah, it's nuts.
I feel like
Okay, so now the
that was like a
question
really weak
becomes:
turn. That was not worth it.
so if I go from 2 to 3 is +4, so I could still raise that, and I could raise this. I could raise that, and I could raise this if I really wanted to do that. That would be raise monuments. And I could still use my specialist, but is that going to be fast enough? That's the question. Let me see. What else is down here in the... What's this worth? This is only worth a victory... Wait, it's worth 2 victory points. The sculptor is worth 2 victory points. But it does put me to +3. Interesting.
Yeah, adding to the VR at this point,
Well, the question...
like late in the game, definitely a balancing act, right?
Definitely.
In terms of
I'm gonna here. This is gonna probably be wild and probably straight up lose me the game. But I'm gonna try it.
yeah.
Let's see, where would I put that? Kind of want to put it so that you guys need hubs at least. Man, this is gonna cause a massive bidding war for turn order, I think. So yeah, let's put that here. Firm craftsman, set prices. Yeah, I'm obviously setting it to
Ranked.
They're all going up to 3. And I'll use my specialist 3 times.
Were you able to? How did you set your prices? I was trying to do that and I couldn't find a way.
When I placed the diamond cutter, it said confirm and set prices, and I was able to set the prices for both.
Okay, so
Right.
it's
That
only
basically
equal to
resets the market.
craftsman.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So there's no way to just independently do it. Okay.
Right.
Okay, there you go.
Not without praying to Jiva.
Yeah, not without praying to some other god.
Okay.
So it's just not that useful to put out 2 of the same type, I guess.
Oh, you build the diamond.
I did put the diamond out, yeah. Well, because it only raises my VR by 1, and
Sure.
it gives me 3 victory points, and
Yeah.
I needed to jack up the prices for my goods, right? Because I don't want it to be super trivial for anyone to raise to 5, including myself. And I'd like the income, basically, because I've been getting good income from the fact that I have that god, but I think it doesn't scale towards the later
Definitely,
game.
definitely seems like an early game thing.
Seems like it's a very strong early game thing, not so strong late game thing. So I feel like to scale, I need to like at least have 2 goods that no one else has right now, and jack the prices up, right?
Well, you're jacking them up for Steve.
Yeah.
Well, Steve can still get.
No, I mean my god that your prices don't affect me because of my god.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah,
I
that's the
forgot
thing.
about that. Oh man, yeah, no. In that case, man, that guy is very, very, very strong.
Right.
Wow! Holy shit! So yeah, you're gonna.
Yeah,
So
like as we start going with having to pull in more goods and to raise the monuments higher, like he's coming at it at a lower curve than we are.
Much lower curve.
I came in with like 99% of an idea of raising monuments, but I'm actually wondering if I should place a craftsman and try to play for next turn. Like, I don't know. Then again, all the stuff is out there. I guess let me go ahead and do it. Just get.
I think there's like 2 to 3 turns left.
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
It feels that way.
I almost felt it was only 2, like that last one and this one, but then I realized that we don't actually have the ability to get the level 5 stuff yet. And then the next thing is that this becomes a big math problem, right? Which is
One that I would do.
how far can you go on the bidding
Yeah.
without digging so deep into your savings that you can't
This is
actually, because the 5 raise is expensive as hell. Even with, well, not for you. I think you got this.
I don't think the bidding's as expensive as it seems.
Probably not.
You really, you kind of, at most, you lose 2 per
Yeah, you don't lose
escalation.
that. It's true. You don't lose that many. It's basically how high can anyone go, right?
Yeah, it's like how many rounds, not what the bid is.
Right.
Well, and the other tricky thing here is because the way things are pricing out, it looks like I can only raise 2. Like, I'm not going to be able to do a full raise of 3 out.
Even though I have 19 cattle?
Once, because I have to go... Here, maybe I'm clicking around wrong. Let me double check. Because I still have to go...
Well, the first one is, the one that only needs 1, you can probably get through hubs very simply by just using the second wood carver, right? Or just one of your ivory. The second you need to raise the 2 to 3, now you need 2, and that's going to get a little bit more
right,
a little bit rougher. But yeah, now that I look at it,
I was gonna say once you locked out, because the one top, I was gonna say I don't have enough because you priced out.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that.
That's the game.
It is, but also like I shouldn't have done that, right? That was straight up nutso. Like if I had thought for 1 second about Anansi, I would have been like, that's obviously not a good idea. I'm also pricing myself out, right? Like I have to pay, I get it back, but I also have to have it, right?
I was gonna say you do get it back, but it does mean that like in terms of me like going wide, and that's why I was saying I'm like, I came in with the idea of going wide on this, but now I don't know that I can actually support it unless I put down another craftsman and try to go a different way. And I think by the time
not a bad idea. Well, maybe I don't know.
I feel like by the time I get something going with that, it's too late. I think, like you guys said, we're too close to the end game. Like ducking a turn to place an extra craftsman here, I don't know that I have a choice, but it's not exactly a really.
Let's be honest here. We all know that when we play Splatter, the likelihood is that Brian's going to win, probably.
Right.
What?
I knew that. That's the reaction I wanted. What?
What? Pressure of that, and none of the actual glory of ever winning Splatter games.
What?
And it was so funny. I was like, I wonder if I can get you to say what?
So innocent.
Struck my button.
Yeah, I was like, I know that it's like one of those things where I still think that you have like a better grasp on, like, okay, that was tongue in cheek, but like I do think that you have a better grasp of the general strategy in this kind of a like I think you grok it a little bit better than most people I've played these with, right? With the exception of.
If there's any reason for that, it's because the group I play with is so hardcore.
That's what I mean, like right?
Getting beat down at the gym like every single day.
Yeah, you've mentioned that wasn't it your group that like was actually invited to the Netherlands to play?
Yeah, the guy that runs our group night did go to
test the expansion
beta test of Ketchup.
I remember this, right? And I was like, oh my god, okay.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah,
I've never come in higher than 3rd place in a Splatter game with them.
Yeah, that's what I bet. Okay, so you did the 3, so I have to. Here's what. Okay, let's see. Brian has 18 cows. So if I were to, the nuts thing is, if I went crazy right now and I just went straight to 18, I could force it, but would that make sense? I'd be giving you both a lot of cows, right? Yeah. So this is the thing that I haven't thought about, like just raising it a little bit versus raising it a lot.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was thinking about last turn too, because I was like, man, if I had actually, instead of doing the incremental raise, because all it did was immediately kick me out and leave it to be a 2-man thing once you both were
right. But the thing that's what I meant. Like if I go high now, I'll get a lot of it back, but probably not enough. I don't think I'm gonna get enough back to actually do the level 5 raise, and it's not even gonna win me the game. So this is nonsense, right? So I think I might go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I want to do something that ends on me, right? So that will always be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 8, 5 or 8? What do I want to do here? No, let's do 5. There we go.
Yeah. Brian, forged in the fires of Mount Splatter.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm too much of a vibes player to ever
Right.
be
Yeah,
good at these
same
games,
here.
'cause
Same here.
I refuse to do the analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
playing, as I say, we're playing 18 Chesapeake right now, and like there's like so much banter back and forth, and I'm like, I'm not going to do the math here. This is just so nuts, right? And then
That's a real question. What's the most vibes based play amenable splatter game?
Vibes based play.
Like, which one will you suffer the least penalty of being a vibes based player on?
I mean, you'll pass it for sure. Okay, this is maybe respect relative to my 10 plays of Horseless Carriage, but like I can play Horseless Carriage pretty casually in my head now,
Yeah.
and I can
Yeah.
luck into a situation where suddenly I find myself greedily in a local optimum where I can turn my brain on again and then win the game, right?
Yeah, my first
But
thought was
yeah.
it's absolutely not Food Chain, and then
No,
and then
definitely
it's
not.
probably, and then Horseless is the one that I was like, yeah, maybe.
Well,
Like,
yeah, and definitely not like of the ones I've played. It's definitely not Roads and Boats.
Well, I'm wondering if it's bus, but I do
It's
agree.
maybe-
Horseless Carriage is a strong contender.
Yeah, you can kind of fumble your way through it because everyone is. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you're playing with someone who knows what they're doing, someone's gonna upgrade during the research a thing that they were like, oh no, I needed you to research this other thing, right? And the dynamics of that are also so weird, right?
I feel like that comes late game though, and
Oh,
it still
sorry,
feels
Jesus,
like
I'm
you
just
can.
like sorry, I didn't hit I missed end
We're
turn
just-
again. The end turn button after you hit yes, I want to bid this much is unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree. Because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh.
But this year also, I have to say, like, I feel like you can kind of. I mean, again, this is our first play, so it's hard to say. Like, you can kind of sleepwalk your way through this. Probably you can't, but the dynamics of these games are just so unique and weird that, like, I want to win, but also it's not the most important thing, right? It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, just swimming in the different dynamics is sort of interesting in itself, even if you get punked out at the end of the game.
I mean, I've even watched people play that. Like, I've even watched like plays of this. Maybe it was even Heavy Cardboard that I just watched them like play a game and be like, oh, interesting. But it looks nothing like what we're doing.
Right.
Right. And maybe that's because we don't know what we're doing, but I don't.
This is the unique flavor that we bring to our board game play with the Eggplant Show.
I was thinking about that earlier today when I was like, are we going to stream this today? I was like, yeah, why not? Like, obviously we should. It's such an easy way to do it. And like put up put up a video. I've been watching so much films lately. Put up a video that's just like, oh yeah, cool, this is what's happening. Of course you wait. Oh, you passed. You passed. Interesting.
Really?
I passed.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for that. I thought you would.
That's up to you.
Okay.
Now.
That's the vibes, man.
That's the
Vibes.
Well, shit. Now what?
I wasn't planning on this.
That was totally unexpected. Back and forth with Andy. How far do we want?
Well, back and forth.
How silly do?
Question is, how much am I going to still go along with your bullshit, right? Because again,
Yeah.
for you to raise everything is going to cost you quite a bit, and you might leave enough stuff for me to also raise my 1 and 2, right? And then I might even ask myself, should I just be building more monuments, right?
Yeah.
Which is, again, now I understand why that build 2 monuments god is.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
I
Now that
regret
makes more
not
sense
taking
because
that
you
sort
can
of.
go-
Because you can raise all resources.
Yes.
Like, and then everyone else is like, well, I'm not raising any monuments this turn, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can go super wide and block all that out.
You're blocking out. You're also not getting a ton of victory
I don't know.
points.
I really kind of feel like, though, at least in this game, the correct number of monuments was 3.
Maybe.
So I kind of wonder if that card is really worth it.
11. No. No. You're gonna.
Come on.
No.
You sure?
11.
That was
So
too high?
for me, that's a difference between having 23 and 15 cows.
Okay.
No.
All
Under
right.
no circumstances. You're going first again.
Okay.
No, so I see in the drop down list, right? I see like, do you want 23 cows or 15? And I'm like, I think I want 23. Right?
As it turns out. Okay. Let's try this raise again. Let's see if
Well, I mean, if you don't do it, then you're just leaving it to me, right? So
yeah.
I think what you want to prevent is that I can raise my 4 to 5 right now, which probably just by using the resources in any way you would is probably enough, right?
Yeah.
So I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Did you really
Oh my god.
build? I didn't even notice that you built that freaking. This is going to be impossible to
Oh,
pay for
what the
anyway,
hell?
right?
Oh,
The what?
I totally did not track that either.
Yeah, I didn't see the sculptor coming out because the sculptor's so far away,
Oh, that's hilarious.
from the wood carver. Oh, yeah, it's cost a
I never even
million.
thought about
It's going to
that.
cost $1 million. Now I'm trying to envision that we are actually in the Great Zimbabwe, and it's taking them like 3 years or 8 years to raise a monument because they have to move everything super
They have to
far.
move everything.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like, and then, like as a web comic, you can imagine like the dude, like, dude, why did you build it so far away? like what were you thinking? Well, I wanted to make sure that it slows down all the other tribes.
Right.
What? It's like the narrative here is weirdly comical, right? Which is again probably not how it shook out.
Okay. So
I did not. Yeah, I also until just now did not realize that there was a wood carver there. Sorry, what? Not wood carver. What's it called?
Well, I just put that sculptor there.
Sculptor.
I mean that's what I did last turn.
Yeah, yeah. I
was
didn't.
like,
I was oblivious to that.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Same. I totally did not catch that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that you did that, and now I'm like, ooh, that's not great for me.
It affected the math that I already abandoned doing. So
Right,
who knows?
but also for
More
you,
expensive.
your math is all like times 1. One. Sorry, it's just addition.
That's true.
1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1.
Yeah,
Right.
I have my chips and my malt, but
Yeah.
we're just on malt
Yeah,
now. Or just on
exactly.
chips, not on malt.
Oh God! So I've played while Steve is thinking through.
Yeah, I'm going through
Go ahead.
all the
No, I
deep
can
blue
go back to just chatting, which is
calculations.
I probably
Yeah.
played like 10 to 12 hours of Balatro now, because we're talking to the developer tonight. Like tonight's
Right.
when
Oh,
we're
wow.
recording the show. And I played about 10 to 12 hours, and I beat the game with like I think 4 or 5 decks, and not with any of the stakes or like raising the stakes and stuff like that. Like I think for that I'd have to unlock. I've unlocked like maybe 65 or 70 out of the 150 Joker cards. And then I realized that there's an unlock all button, which I then used because I was like, I'm not gonna get to play another 20 hours, and I also don't want to grind out the cards, so I just unlocked all, and I was able to like put together combos that I hadn't seen before, and I think that's all
I
pretty
have
interesting.
found that did you find that the game gets easier as you unlock more? I've been finding that
Oh yeah.
personally.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm getting better. I'm just having more access to X.
No, I
stuff
think
like
you
that.
can get like the X malt stuff and like some. I mean, I didn't look this up. A friend of mine texted me and said, "Hey, have you tried the Mime with the Baron yet? Because it gives you."
Yeah.
And I did. So I found I couldn't do it in my own game because I hadn't unlocked the Baron.
Yeah.
And so then in the other game, I just like hunted down that combo, and once you have that combo, you can get to you can get to the highest antes, because at that point you are also super, like, also exponential, right? Because you're triggering your 1.5s twice every time, right?
Yeah.
No, I think the game's really cool. I really like it, but I think I'm also done, right? Like I think now with my 10, 12 hours put in, I think I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not a game I'm gonna 100%. Is what I'm saying.
I made it all the way. I think is it the black stake? I made it halfway up the difficulties on the red hand.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't try any of this raising the stakes. I looked at the next deck to unlock and looked what the requirement for that was, and then played the game with that deck. So I haven't unlocked any of the decks yet that required that I put in a stake, which I think is five. I think it's 5.
it has replaced Hearthstone Battlegrounds for me as the
Oh, I didn't even know
game.
you were
I always
playing
have
Hearthstone
one game.
Battlegrounds.
Oh, dude, I have like thousands of hours in that game.
Holy I mean, it's a good game.
It's
It's a good game to
oh
sink
yeah,
your teeth into for sure.
crazy good. But
Um,
it's replaced it for me as my play for 15 minutes game.
mhm. Well, for
The
me,
only reason it hasn't fully replaced it is because it's not on mobile yet. So it's a little
got
hard.
it.
Yeah, I have the Steam Deck, but it's a little hard to like cook
So I
and play on the
played it.
Steam Deck.
That's true. I played it on. So I put the majority of the 12 hours in on PS5. I actually find it
Yeah.
plays extremely well on controller. Like some people are like, oh
Oh,
no, you
definitely.
can't do it. And I
Yeah.
was like, no, it plays fantastically well on controller.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Yeah.
Like once you get the buttons down, it's just like boop 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 boop. Right, like buy and use on the shoulders. It's
Yep.
very good. It's really
Yep.
juicy and works like a charm. Because I was like, oh yeah, I'll play it on my Steam Deck, and I'm like, I don't think. Well, for me, it's like I don't need a game to wean me off of another game right now because I quite frankly don't have that game. By the way, Steve, are you still with us?
I'm still
Okay,
cooking. Yeah,
okay.
sorry. No, I'm
At this point, if you were my friend Jeff, I would say you have 1 minute
I'm
left.
yes, sorry.
When
Yeah.
I was growing up, we would play a lot of Trivial Pursuit, and if someone sat and pondered too long, we would make this siren noise. We'd say, Trivial Pursuit, police, come out!"
See, this is again how I know that we're of similar age because I too have the Trivial Pursuit bug in my. I think it's now probably like my lowest rated game in my collection, but I still have it. Right?
Terrible game,
It's a
unless
terrible
you're a
game.
nerd, in which case,
Yeah.
do your nerd stuff and
Did
it's
I
fine.
tell you this? I feel like this never came up, but like I'm gonna tell you all a story of me and my brother when I was 10 years old. I think I had just moved to Germany, right? So I was bitter. I was 9 when I was 9. My parents moved me to Germany, and it was right around Star Wars being at Toys R Us. There was no Toys R Us in Germany, so I couldn't buy Star Wars toys. So I was very very bitter. And so one Christmas it was like the hotness, right? And this is like we're talking like 1980. That's when Trivial Pursuit was the hotness.
Oh yeah,
And we were hunting it down like it was
yes,
impossible to
same,
find. We were
same. I
driving
remember going
from
to the mall with my mom trying to find it for my dad.
we were driving from game store to game store around Wiesbaden, Germany, and we went to like out like other towns that were like 20 miles away, 40 miles away.
Yeah.
And we were just like we basically radiated out until we found a store that had a copy because we were desperate to play it on Christmas.
Was it even localized to German?
It
Never
was
mind
no, it
having
was
like German centric.
it
Or was
was
it
not
still the same?
no. It was localized to Germany and German centric. So it was fully
So
played
it was
like
different questions.
like all the culture
Oh,
questions were around
oh, that's cool.
like
Yeah.
German artists and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, huh.
German literature. Thomas Mann was in all over it. I was 10 years old. I had no clue who Thomas
Yeah.
Mann is, right? So I could never take the culture questions.
Still don't know who it is.
I'm 10 years old. It's like I'm
Yeah.
probably bad at this game, but I remember the experience of doing that. It was freezing cold. I think it was New Year. It wasn't even for Christmas. It was for New Year's. It was
you are
freezing. And we were just driving everywhere. We were like, oh God, we're never going to find this game. And now it's like, it's absolute trash. but at the
Yeah.
time, man. Okay, let's see. What did you all use up? A lot. The answer is a lot. So the question is, do I even want to raise? And I think the answer is yes, I still want to raise. Because I can still raise the 1 and the 2. And I think I'll get away with it. Because why would I not do that? Is there a reason why I wouldn't do that? Placing Craftsman is impossible because I'm already at 34 and I don't want to raise my cap higher. My specialist is going to be used every time, so I think... Do I build monuments? Do I build... Well, monuments. Do I build monument? It's not build monuments.
Right.
Yeah.
One at a time.
This is a weird one, right? Because build. Yeah, I think I build monument. You said 3 is the optimum. I'm not sure that's true.
I don't know.
I'll be right back. I gotta.
Yeah, go ahead. Because I think right now, so if I raise, like trying to raise my 4 to 5 is going to be probably impossible. I'll try it just as a joke, but I think it's.
We even have enough goods on the board.
We
Do we have enough craft
we
workers?
do, but we do, but it's not going to be. I mean, even if I could, I think there's actually not enough in terms of goods to do it.
Right. There's not enough goods to supply the
Well,
craftsman.
no, there actually is. I think I'm just going to run out of money before it happens. So that's number one. That's number two. This is number three. And that's number four. It costs me all my money.
All your money
All my
to
money.
confirm. Okay. Wow.
But
You win?
no.
Not yet.
I would go to 29.
You would go to
I would
29.
go to 29, but I think I'm going to cancel it.
I don't
because
know.
I-
You would be within striking
20
distance
cancel.
then.
Well, if I don't do it, then Brian's going to do it, and Brian will go up very high. But it turns out that Brian can't then raise a whole lot of other stuff. The problem is that I'm not going to get my 3. No, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. Just because. Why not?
I was gonna say. I think it might.
I'll do
actually-
it. I'll do
out.
it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Good for the content,
It's just
Andy.
so expensive. It's so expensive. But I think I have to do it this way. I think this is the only way it's going to work. Wait, what did I miss? Oh, this one. Okay, confirm raising. Jesus Christ. I can only use my specialist once.
Okay, but still.
Yeah, now I'm at 29 out of 34, but that was expensive as hell. Holy shit. And the question is, if I raise 2 to 3, it's plus 4. Yeah, if I manage to raise next turn, then I win, right? It's true. If I manage to raise next turn, I win. Question is, will I manage to raise next turn? I'm going to be basically broke.
I guess it depends on how much Brian can pressure you because I'm also completely broke. So financially,
Well, Brian's filthy rich, but there's nothing left on the board, right? So Brian cannot raise, right? So this is maybe the turn where Brian gets a, but even for you right now, getting the second diamond cutter is 3. Like you get 3 victory points, but it raises your VR by 2, so it's like 1 victory point, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way I mathed out, to the extent that I did math anything out, was I build a monument. That's 1 VP.
Yeah.
Oh, but now I'm at fucking 33. What the? Well, I mathed that wrong. I had it so that it was going to get me right to where I needed to be. But apparently,
Well,
I did that wrong.
You must have. I mean, you probably raised your VR by doing something, right?
I didn't do anything.
Well, it's been 33 for a while.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I guess I just.
It's been 33 for a long while because at some point it was 34 to 34 to 33.
right. And then I put the sculptor down, and that put me to
Right.
37. But other than that, we were at the same general VR
Right.
for a few turns.
Sorry, it was 33 to 33 to 34. That's what it was. Because I was at 33. I'm at 34 now because I put out the diamond cutter.
Right.
Which I did need to raise it to 5.
So I. Can I even put out the diamond cutter if I wanted to?
I mean, you should be able to.
Yeah.
The question, yeah, there's only 1 diamond there, right? That's the coolest part. I think you can do it. It's just that whoever used the diamond cutter first is going to use it. Question is, why would you do that though? It's going to cost you 10 cattle for 1 victory point, right? I feel like there's potentially a better. I mean, I should be helping you here right now, but like, because we
No, I mean,
always.
I just build a monument to get
Yeah,
the 1 victory point.
Yeah,
but I don't
I
think.
think you build a monument, and then do you have a specialist?
Is there any strategic value in getting the diamond cutter to block out Andy from raising next turn? Can Andy raise without the diamond cutter next turn?
I mean, keep in mind that all I need to do is raise a 1 and a 2, and I don't.
All you need to do a 1 and a 2. Yeah.
So
you
I
don't
only need
the
3 different goods. I only need 2 different goods, right? So.
All right, I'm gonna just.
So I'm probably gonna go pretty bonkers on the turn order.
The bid.
Well, bonkers as much as I can, right? Probably Brian's gonna go first, right? Because we're both at 0. My income's never in a million years gonna get me back up to 25. So yeah, Brian's for sure going first, and then the question is that enough for Brian to win the game?
I don't think
And
so.
it might be. I
but-
don't know. Well, going
I don't
from
think it
two,
is. But this
so
was the
going
plan.
from
The
4 to 5
plan was
is
build a monument,
8.
go first next turn. So we'll see. That was the plan.
Oh, you're
I couldn't map.
1 point. I see. Wait, if you build a wait, if you build a monument now, I
Well, if I
think
can raise all three, but I don't think I can raise three monuments.
no. If you build a monument now, then
Yeah.
you. Oh, okay. 19 plus 12.
This is why I think
You're
three monuments.
I
is
see
the
what
right
you're
amount.
saying. You're 1 point short.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
man.
no, if I raise all three, I'm
Yeah.
there. But I don't think I can raise all three.
Well, I mean, you'll see because you're. Well, again, that's a thing that you're gonna. Technically, you would have to map
Yeah.
out to see.
That turn, I had a turn where I raised a monument from 1 to 2, and that was what killed me. That should have been a turn where I raised two monuments from 1 to 2 or something like that.
Yeah,
That was just a really,
it is
really inefficient
it is
late
a game.
game
It is a
turn.
game of inches at the end. At this point.
And I don't think.
Which is maybe my least favorite thing about the game is that right now you really to like win the game. But again, that's probably true of all spotter games, right? Where it's just like we're playing it for the vibes, and you'd have to do you'd have to go through. Okay, if I do this and 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 this. Oh wait, but if I don't, let's unwind all of that again. Go back to the.
Well, this game really has a weird feeling of tempo that I don't think other spotter games do.
Yeah.
In the sense of Food Chain Magnet, once you're moving, you can keep moving until a marketing campaign fucks you up. But this one, there's this like on-off feeling to
Yeah.
try getting the good turn order, kind of doing some infrastructure like whatever. I feel like there's a weird tempo one, and people can get in phase locks too, which is what I'm kind of experiencing right now a
Yeah.
little bit. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna build a monument. I don't think it matters where I build it, other than transport costs.
Other than transport costs, which
So we'll
which will
stick
potentially
it
matter.
here.
Probably want to be
Stick
closer
it
to
here.
the ivory, is my guess, right? Because that's the only base resource we have.
I'm actually adjacent to the ivory already, because of the water.
Oh, true.
Anyway, okay, I built a monument. Good luck, Godspeed.
Here we go. Here we go. 29-20. This is the last. This is for sure the last round. Now we just have to 14 to 33. So Brian's for sure going first. And then we just
At
have
what
to.
cost?
Well, we can't make it so. The main thing for us right now, I think, or for us, Steve, is that we can't just give it to Brian in terms of costing nothing, because then it's just going to be for sure game over. That said, it's not like it ends the second you reach your VR, right? Like it's at the end of the round we check, and then whoever is the farthest over, right, is going to win. So it's still
Yeah, but I mean,
you're gonna hit it. You're gonna hit it exactly, right? You're gonna hit 33 exactly.
If I could do that, you won't have any way to raise anything.
Oh, really?
So if I can do it, I will win. But I don't think I can do it actually.
Is that? Oh, okay.
Because I'll use every resource on the board to do that, right? I'm talking about raising three monuments.
Oh, right. You'd raise the 4 to 5. I see. Oh, but but you might because of your god, right?
Yeah, I mean maybe. I don't know. I'll find out when the
user
interface won't let me.
I feel like I should be opening with a more aggressive bid, but we're gonna start there.
So again, 1, 2, 3. I want to end on 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's do 7. Yeah, I feel like I need to go pretty high here, because otherwise you are going to just finish it out.
Well, yeah. And I also
which is maybe the winning move, right? It's maybe the winning moves, which is why I was reluctant, right? That's why I was a little bit reluctant to drain myself that far.
Well,
but whatever, it is what it is.
I was hoping you would do that because you have Alegua, and I was like, okay, instead of me bidding 7, why don't we have Andy bid 7?
Well, Alegua at this point seems like Anansi seems like a much stronger. I mean, now that again, live and learn, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think in this scenario, I do think in this scenario it would have been good for you guys to bid stronger, faster. Yeah. But then if you're playing for second place, which I'm not sure anyone's doing, cares about second versus third, then you would be left in a weird position of oh, I thought Andy was going to bid up with me, then he dunked out, so I just plopped 15 on Brian and Andy or whatever.
Right.
All right, I think I'm going to do. Okay. Yep.
Current bid 9. Okay. Yeah, but you still have so much. I think you're gonna have even after you've drained us to the point where we can't actually. Yeah,
I'm
already out.
making money as this bid goes around.
I'm already out, right? Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I just got passed, right? So all you have to do now is bid 11 and it's yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're 26 and everything costs 1 for you. Yeah, I think this is GG.
I think that's
right?
it.
Yeah.
I think that may be it. Yeah.
Well, because
I was
again,
trying
yeah,
to see if there was a way to cut the math so that, but it was like the more that I would raise up, you would still get the cows.
4,
It would,
5, 6.
the
You're gonna
floor
use
of the
you're gonna
cows
use
wouldn't
7 resources, and then the question is that really everything, right? That's the question. Because if it's not, I can still raise something. But if you're gonna use, because you're gonna use, wait, 4. Oh, it's more than that. It's way more than that, because you also have to use the secondary things all the time. Well, we'll see. I can't use the diamond, that's for sure, because you're gonna use the diamond.
Why can I not use the? What the fuck is going on here?
What are you trying to use? I mean, there's nothing you can't use right now, right? That said,
I'm at a point where I can't click anything.
At all.
What am I missing?
maybe
I had a
page
couple.
Oh, there it goes.
got jacked up.
No, I see. Oh, I had to do the secondary good for the sculptor. That's right.
Yeah, that's the weird one.
Yeah.
That's the really weird one.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can do this. Oops.
Like if you
Sorry,
actually plan this out and you're like perfectly in the sense that there's gonna be nothing left for me to use, like at all, then I tip my hat, right? Because I can't see that yet, right? I can't.
No, absolutely, no, absolutely not. All I did was I figured this was the last turn.
I mean, this is for sure the last turn because you're gonna get to 33, right? The question is, am I gonna get to 34, which is not even clear to me because it's not like I don't even know that that's possible. Because again, there'd need to be enough goods left. I think I'd have enough money to buy them, but there would need to be enough goods left on the board. And then for you to raise all 3 at the same time with 26 cattle, even with your cost of 1, you shouldn't have a problem, right?
I think I can't do it.
Even with your,
but I think you can't do it either. Because I think there's not enough. Okay, hold on a second.
You definitely have enough to raise the 5, right? So the big one for you is the 5. That's the one you definitely have to raise. Otherwise, you're not going to get to 33 at all, right? So you need to use the diamond. You need to use the wood. The wood.
Oh, God dang it! I'm sorry. I did that thing where I hit confirm and I have to start all over again. It's okay. That UI is whack.
It's the first time we're clicking us through. This is the fumble our way through the UI phase.
This is.
Yeah, because you need to use the diamond. You're definitely going to use the diamond. You're going to use.
I'm also trying to be careful about where I'm taking the resources from to maximize your. Well, let's see. If I can do this, I win. So it doesn't matter if I'm.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Increasing your costs.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, you close it out immediately with a win. So.
Well, no, he doesn't. He does not.
Oh, it plays the rest
end of the round. It's the end.
But the point is, there's no resources left.
Yeah,
there's no resources.
The point is, can you click it? Can you A, pay for it, and B, which I think you can, and B, is there nothing left for me to do? Right. If there's nothing left for me to do, then it's just GG, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be able to pay for it because I've got 15 left after I do the 5.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely going to be able to pay for it.
No, see, I think I can't. Sorry, it's no craftsman available with resources.
For what? For what are you trying?
For which one?
The second clay into the second clay into the
I see
into the potter.
I see.
Oh, because have you already used the primary?
The secondary, you mean?
Yes.
So you need to keep both of the clay near the primary in so that the primary can get to it, right?
But the point is, there's only. What's going on here? How did I only?
So the center vessel maker can get to the clay that's to the southwest of my 1 monument, right? Because it needs to leave the clay that is south of the center vessel maker, and to the east. It needs to leave both of those if you want to use both of those, right? And that will end vessel makers for everyone.
Right.
But you can only use that to raise 2, obviously. Well, is that true? Yeah, I guess so.
Oh. Okay, I got it. Okay. Okay, yeah. I just spammed a bunch of configurations until it seemed to go through.
Oh, and also I forgot that I'm last, right? So it's not even... That's not
Right.
even a question either, right? So, yeah, there's already almost nothing left on the board. Yeah, this is over.
Yeah.
This is GG. But you'll still be able to... Well, you can't raise anything either. This is
I was
interesting,
gonna
right?
say,
Because it tells me that I guess we... Well, I was like, oh, we need more craftspeople. No, we don't, right?
Yeah. It
That would
doesn't look
yeah,
like,
that's sorry.
I'm looking around, but I'm not. Yeah. All
You
the
have,
crafts. There are
you
no
have
crafts
just for the record,
available.
you have 1 cattle left. 1, right? That's how close that
Me?
was. Yeah, you have.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Brian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah,
one.
I know. I
One.
picked the right guy. I picked the right god.
Yeah, you picked the right
Yeah.
god for sure. Without that god, yeah, man, holy crap.
I should have opened that bit. I should have been more aggressive with that bit. Yeah, I don't even like looking at this. Yeah, I don't see.
I bet that when you play this game multiple times, the race to the first god is like ferocious. It's just like,
Well-
I need, right?
Well, I also feel
Yeah.
like, in retrospect too, like I went with Ngai thinking that 2 cattle income would help smooth me over, but seeing now that we're operating in
Yeah,
like
we're-
15 to 25, that
No,
2 cattle isn't really.
We're
important.
both, I mean, you and I are both, we both have like abilities that speed us up in the beginning,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I needed to play more. Well, and I didn't even know how to play aggressively.
I mean,
right?
again,
like,
me
I
say-
needed to. Yeah.
Right. Me saying the prices to 3 was also nuts, right? Like if I would not have done that. I would definitely not have done that. Because it kind of made everything more expensive for me last turn. That's fine.
I'm gonna build a monument. Why not?
I mean, I guess that's all I can do, right? There's no other way for me to get victory points other than build a monument.
I may.
Because I can't, let me see, is there anything, am I just overlooking something? So no, that's all used up, that's all used up, that's all used up. There's 1 resource here, 1. So I could at least raise my 1 to a 2, right? Which I think is a +2, which is better than building a monument. So I may as well do that.
Can't
right?
raise wait, so why can't you raise both of them?
How would I? Well, I'm going to raise it.
I don't
I
know.
actually I haven't internalized whether or not
Well,
the
so
resources
what I'm
can
saying
go through
is,
hub
what I'm
to
saying is, right now there's an ivory in the upper right corner, right?
yeah.
And the wood carver is not going to have access. So the basic wood carver is used up, which means I can't
Right.
use the advanced one. And the basic the basic clay dude is also used up, which means I can't use the advanced one. And then there's no more diamonds.
It's
Right.
not a resource blockout; it's a craftsman blockout, right? Because
Well,
you can't.
it's a little bit of a resource blockout because if there was another diamond, then I could. Again, this is an Aussie thing, right? Like you had the specialist that allows you to put out.
That allows me to put out
Did
another
you
one.
ever use that specialist? 'Cause you
I
could use
did.
that-
I did. I put that 3rd elephant up in the upper right, and
Because
then
the thing is, you could have done that every turn, right?
I could have
And
done that
and you
every
would have
turn.
gotten the 2 cattle back, right?
I don't know if I got
You-
the cattle back.
Yeah.
but-
No, you do because my dude is put 2 cattle on this to get an extra cattle. Yours is put 2 cattle on this to get a resource, to place a resource, and you get the cattle back, right?
Okay.
So you
Well.
so if you
yeah, I
didn't
left that
u-
on the table then.
yeah, if you didn't use that, then it's like if you had used that every turn, we're in turn 9, right? If you'd used that every turn, or even every other turn, there would have been like 4 or 5 or 6 more resources out on the board right now. Because it's not like
Right.
you had 2 specialists; you only had 1. I used my specialist every turn because I always had like at least 2, often 6 cattle left over.
Well, I mean, your specialist, like the herd. I mean, the herd gave you a ton of economic value pretty much throughout.
Oh yeah. No, the herd. Yeah, the herd did for sure. I'm just saying that if you had used the shaman, which I think you used maybe twice.
I used it twice. I guess from my read on the specialist is that the herd is just uniformly good. Like it just gave you economic value pretty much throughout.
It
I
did.
feel like the rest are a little more situational.
No. I'm not
right?
saying they're not situational. I'm just saying you could have used
Right.
them every turn
I
at
could.
no
Yes, I could.
at no additional like you would have, unless you drained yourself to 0. If you had 2 cattle left, you would have done all of us a favor by adding more to
Yeah.
the board, right?
Well, that's the thing, right? I don't know if it would have necessarily advanced anything towards my own victory to do
That's
that.
potentially true. It just wouldn't have raised your VR. And I mean, okay, I'll be honest. If it was there right now, I'd win, right?
Well, yes, that's true,
But it isn't.
but
And
it's
so
not.
as a result, I just do this, and I think that's it. Because this basically has there is nothing left here. Like clicking anything here right now is a joke, right? If I click on anything here, it's like, what? Oh, wait, so this could use this, but then there's like nothing left for that, right? Yeah, there's no craftsman, cancel raising, restart current raise. Yeah, I'm just looking through this to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Yeah, there's no way this can work. Go here. Nope. Choose a resource. There's one left. No. It's always one missing. There's one missing. But the other thing is I wouldn't even get to my 34, right? Even if I raised the 2 to 3, I'd get to 33, and that wouldn't be enough. So whatever, I'll raise the 1 because at least that gets me to 2. I'll use the specialist, not that I think it matters. And then I'll end my turn. Game will end this round. Current standings. Yeah, that's fine. GG.
Yeah.
Winning Kingdom. Best mythology.
GG.
Anansi. Yeah, I'm just not surprised.
Yeah.
Next highest oh, it's the difference. Got it. Right, so you went over. I'm 3 under.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, it's like it's ordered in difference.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the other good news about this game is this was our first play, and we talked a lot, and it was I mean, we've been streaming for 3 hours, or not quite 3 hours, but like, if without the teach, I feel like you can probably like a 3-player game of this, you can probably get through this in under 2 hours.
I
wonder what BGG says. I wonder what BGG says about this in terms of play length. Because it feels faster than most Splotters that I've played.
I was going to say, it almost feels breezy compared to the other Splotters we played.
I mean, which would explain why it's lower, like why the weight rating on BGG is lower. Yeah, it says 90 to 150 minutes. That actually sounds like it's not a lie. Often those times are absolute bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But 90 to 150 minutes. It says community says 2 to 5 players, best at 4.
Best at 4.
Well, but close. 3 seems very reasonable too here.
Well, I mean, I gotta think that at higher player counts, the rush for those resources and blocking people out becomes a much more adversarial.
So keep in mind that at higher player counts,
sure.
it's a larger map, right?
So
if you look at the rules all the way at the beginning where it says setup, you'll see that the 3-player map is that little upper or lower triangle, which again, I'm such a nerd. Upper or lower triangle, Jesus Christ. The 4-player is the symmetrical, like 2 diamonds thing.
Okay.
Right. So
right.
it adds.
So it's not necessarily.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. It adds another board. So it adds a 6th resource board.
I guess I was just thinking in terms of players consuming those resources, though, right? Like, yes, even though there's a commensurate uptick in the amount of resources on the board to use, there could be more competition in like using those resources early on in the turn order.
So those specialist cards are always the same, right? I'm seeing that right now. Those are actually also, those are not randomized. So the technology card, it's just the gods are like, the game contains 12 and 8 are in play. Right, that's that plus the map, right, which is the big one. The map is the big randomizer, and the like 8 out of 12, 8 choose 12 choose 8. Yeah, I mean, again, if I go ahead.
Sorry, I was to say, like, I actually think this is the least computable Splotter game I've ever played. To the point where I don't even remotely try, and that makes me play faster. Because Food Chain Magnet, you can definitely start to get into some of the computation.
You can. It's just so hard.
Horseless a little bit, but this one is like, once the board is looking like this, I'm like, whatever, and just winging it, and I play faster that way. So
in Horseless, the market is easily computable, I would say. It's the what's the best thing to build now so that I don't screw myself 2 turns in the future. That's the hard part. That's the hard part. That also is like hard to compute because you don't know what other people are going to do, which also means you just play faster.
Yeah.
But it's true. No, you're not. You're not. I think you're not wrong. Except for the last turn, right? Like we just relied on the fact that you were. I mean, look, you were 1 cattle away from not being able to do it.
Yeah, I mean that was completely by accident,
Well, and yeah, the Anansi accident,
Yeah,
right? Without
yeah,
Anansi, it would have been impossible.
yeah. I mean, having played through it, I still don't really know what it cost. Put it that way. It was like in the 20s, I guess, and it probably would have been in the 40s without a
You had
Nazi.
25. You had 25 going into that turn after making turn order, and
Yeah,
so it cost 24.
yeah,
Right? On the turn when I did
yeah,
it, I had 30 something, and I came out with 0, right?
yeah.
Because everything cost me 3 instead of 1, right?
Right.
And Nazi definitely delivered the most cattle value because we played 9 rounds. If you multiply, let's say you got 3 from Hurt every time, that's 30, and
Yeah,
2 from Engai, that's 20. But I think Anansi delivered 20 in just 1 round alone.
yeah.
Probably more like 30 or 40.
Well, it's like they said in the strategy guide. It's what they said there. It's like there are counters to everything, and I wonder what the counter.
Yeah.
I
Oh
wonder
yeah.
what the direct counter in their mind is to Anansi, right? I guess the counter to Anansi is pricing everything at
Lower
1.
prices.
Yeah,
Lower prices.
you
Yeah.
got to price everything at 1. It's like okay, now it's a level playing field again, and that god does nothing for you, right?
Yeah.
Which is what I
Yeah.
needed to do. The second, so yeah, it's interesting, right? There's this game. I mean, this is what they're good at, right? This game has like another 2 dozen plays in it before you even get close to like I think I'm good, right? Is what is
Yeah.
my feeling because we played. I probably played like 16 to 20 games of Horseless Carriage until my group. And we only ever played it. We never played it in the physical version. We only ever played it on online board gamers. And I think after 20 games, we were like, okay, let's take a break. But even then, it wasn't like we're done. It was more of a we've played enough of this game now. Let's play something else. Like we had the same experience with Root after like 30 plays. We were like, okay, let's. I think we're good. Let's move on to something else. No, I like this. I think this is. I don't think I'd immediately give it a 9. I think I'd start an 8 with the chance of going to a 9. But like in terms of how I would rate this. But this is a game that for sure I'm going to want to play in person, right? Because this doesn't look anywhere close to as fiddly as like other Splatter games. Because those X's here, those are actually wooden X's, right?
Right.
So if you look at the rules, right, I think it's even depicted as a piece, right? You got
Or
these
is it like
wooden.
the other side of the piece if you flip it? Or...
No, you got like wooden these used markers. They look like mine. Sometimes they look like X's. Sometimes like this, and you cover the good with it, right?
Okay.
So that
I
way
see.
you know that good has been used that turn.
So for me, this is definitely a game I do not want to play IRL because the number of times that I had to randomly click on things to do the math,
Yes.
and then play it out 4 or 5 possible ways. Like I would never want to do that.
But you would
Like
you just
heads
you
up
just
on the
wouldn't,
table.
right? Like you just wouldn't because I think you just wouldn't because like I realized we played 18 Chesapeake in person, then we played it on 18xx.games, but whoever started the game didn't check auto pathing, and so now we have to like,
Oh,
and it's like the thing is when you're playing at async,
worst.
you can like start being the human pathfinder, and it's
Yeah.
like it's the least. I mean, again, if anyone with, and I think all 3 of us qualify for this, right? Anyone with any significant CS background thinks that's the most boring thing in the universe because that's exactly what you use computers for, right? Like I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
want to do that. It's like, oh, please no, right? So
It's really that operating phase of 18xx is what kind
well,
of sours me in the genre as a whole.
what we did in real life when we played it, what to get through it faster was it was just a delta on the previous path, right? Like you
Yes.
knew what the
Yeah.
previous path was, and if nothing
Yeah.
significantly changed, you just used it again. And maybe you didn't. Maybe you were leaving like $20 or $30 on the table, but I don't think
Yeah.
that mattered in the grander scheme of things, right? Like maybe it did, and maybe there was some snowballing effect somewhere, but usually it's not an engine builder. So it didn't.
Yeah.
None of us felt we came away from the game with a lesser experience when we played it in person because none of us dug up their phone and figured out how to do some optimization like minimum spanning tree or other bullshit, right?
Yeah, without some kind of like Rust surprise, I find the end game of 18x just like horribly boring. I mean, for the ones I've played at least, because it's just like three
It
or four times
pretty
of the
much
same
plays
thing.
itself, right? The last set of operating rounds is just like run through it, and then the game's over, right?
I
And
don't
then
Yeah,
know. When we played with Mike on stream the one time, I mean, he mounted a pretty spectacular comeback towards the end on one of
he
those,
did.
right?
It's
Like
just that
which
because
game?
in 18, oh Shikoku, that was our
we played
we played
Shikoku.
Shikoku.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, but again, you don't. So I think the point here that we're making is that the computer does that for you, right? Like when you're
Right.
in
Okay.
person, you still have to run those operating rounds, and you have to like okay, and so this
Right.
happened, and your stock went up, and blah blah.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
adjudication is there's a real cost of running the operational rounds in
it
person.
does. It takes a moment, but if you again, it's all an expectation thing. Like we said, when you said this is more of a general thing, not an 18xx thing. If I sit along, so if I'm playing those games in real life, I just am very generous with the time slot. Right? If the
Yeah.
game, if we're like, I think we're gonna get through this in 4 hours, then the time slot that we set for scheduling that is 6. Right? I always add 50%, and as
Right.
a result, if it takes 5.5 because we're dragging our feet on the operational rounds, no one gives a shit. Right? So that's usually what it is. If you're trying to like, we have 3 hours, let's get through this 18xx, that's always a recipe for disaster.
yeah.
Right?
Good luck.
It's just it's a
And
nightmare.
maybe play what's that game? 18 Lilliput. Maybe play that in 3 hours.
Yeah.
But that's a Euro. It's not even an
Well,
18x
I used
really.
to run a Monday night board game thing in New York, but we only start because everyone came pretty late, like around like 7, and we had dinner, so the game started at 8,
Oh,
and you couldn't really get a lot in, right? Like everyone's starting to
yeah.
like fade around 11, so you could at most play a game that like takes at 90 minutes to 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Anything above that was impossible, right? So it's again, I've come to the conclusion that it's just a function of how much time you want to set aside for it usually. And
Yeah.
we liked it. We actually thought 18 Chesapeake was super fun in person, but we also didn't have we were under no time pressure to wrap it up
Right.
quickly. Whereas this year, this feels snappy. And again,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
coming back to your point that you made, and my counter to this is, I think when you play this in real life, I think you just run with a greedy algorithm, and you just like try it, and I don't think you unwind. Right. I think once you start putting down the X's, you're not like, oh, let's undo all that again. Right. It's like,
Right.
no,
The
you just
being able to click through all this stuff is an affordance that you wouldn't have in real life because
right.
you wouldn't actually be flipping over this stuff nonstop in person. Or I mean, you would, but people might be irritated by that. I don't know.
Well, because you're also not setting out your color X's, right? So imagine
Yes.
someone already went before you, and their X's are all over the board, and you're not going to be like putting out X's and then taking them off again, because like
Right.
now you can mess up. Now you can really mess up.
Yeah.
And it's
Now
like,
you can really
okay,
do
this is
it.
not worth it. Which is
I
maybe a
guess
strike against it. I don't know, right? But
I don't know, but I mean, thinking about how fiddly some of the other Splatter games that we played are, like trying to like adjudicate purchases in the different ranges of homes and restaurants and food chain, or looking at trying to get off the ground with the factory setup and figuring out what's in a main line on horseless carriage, right? Like I don't know that the fiddliness here is necessarily out of step with that.
oh
And I
god,
think
no.
in some ways, I think once you internalize the math of, okay, I use this resource. It has this hub cost if I need to go to a primary. Like I do feel like I don't know from this is only the first play, right? But it feels like maybe to me it's more attainable to be able to internalize what's happening here versus like I definitely relied on like for all the clicking around that I did in here when we played horseless carriage, I was like running it through like an AI simulation, basically trying to run through all the different like
Yeah,
possible pathing for
right.
the factories there.
But
And I
that's
like
all. But
horseless
that's also
carriage,
the
but
that's also the. I mean, that's arguably the fun and
it
the pain,
is
the fun and the pain,
Yeah.
and the main
right.
tension of horseless
I didn't.
carriage, right?
But I think that's where I make the distinction of I can see playing this in person. Horseless carriage, never in a million
Oh,
years because
really?
yeah, I don't know. Like maybe I would have to try, but I had a hard time just trying to get the internalized like this is in this main line with
Right.
this part without the adjudication, right? Like I don't know. Like I feel and maybe this is just limited exposure to the game and also like the high of coming off of the first time of playing this and like enjoying it, right? It's like okay, this
Right.
feels more attainable to me, like internalizable to me than
Right.
what we had with either of those other two games.
I think. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. I think my comment about the computability of this wasn't so much like whether the strategic horizon is like wider or narrower. It's that I can like look at food chain if I really want to and be like, will I win this house or not? You know, well, basically, will I win the house or not?
Mm.
Whereas if I look at this map and I go, will I be able to raise this thing? Do I have enough money? And depending on what turn order I'm in, and then how much should I bid? Like that, the sort of like, can I
Right.
question is actually harder, I think, in Zimbabwe than in food chain. It's still hard in all of them, but I find it harder in Zimbabwe just due to the number of like possible reconfigurations of turn order and bid and the what who uses what and like just the numbers in general. There's way more numbers flying around. Food
Right.
chain is you can kind of look at a house and figure out who's going to win it, unless you know it can't account for like certain cards being workers being played. But in general, like who's going to win it, pretty static and pretty computable.
I mean, it has like partial wins, right? They're like, I can get
Yeah, that
this, I can
too.
get, it has partial wins. This, yeah, if you go first here and you have enough money, you're going to use up the entire board. Like, it's like the
Right.
equivalent in
You can
food of,
close it out.
yeah, it's the equivalent in food and be like, I go first. Everyone comes to me. And now
Yes.
the round is over, right? So which is why I again feel like from a, like just design, um, progression, you can see that this predates food chain, right? I feel like I can feel that they did this, and then elements of this sort of are in food chain, but in a, as Brian just said, like in a more digestible, it's stupid. It's like almost like I planned that. It's more in a more digestible, it's in a more digestible way in food chain because you can look at like parts of the map and be like, oh, I'm not going to win all of this stuff, but I'm going to get at least this, right?
Mm,
That
yeah.
said, I sometimes look at the map in food chain and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to get this. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because then I have to also look at like, okay, how far away are they factually, like not just physically, but like how many
Yeah.
modifiers are there, how many
Yeah.
waitresses do they have, like all that other stuff in food chain is like the equivalent of what you just mentioned for here, Brian, where I look at that
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is the part where I stop looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's sort of supplemental map that isn't immediately legible to the game state. Like if you're looking at the board, like I guess maybe that is it a legibility thing here where it's like, okay, I look at the board, I know that what gods and what specialist people have, but those are actions that they take on their turn, or they're like active bonuses throughout. Playing off of the legibility of the board here
I
is
find
the
this
game.
much more legible.
Yeah, I find this much more
it's
legible.
it's compute Yeah, it's interesting to separate those things from a human perspective, right? Because from a computer perspective it doesn't matter, obviously, but from a human perspective I find this more legible even if I don't want to do the math. But I
Yeah, I
see
mean, food chain has stuff that very much affects the game state that's not on the board,
right,
Yeah.
right? And it's like those cards, whether you're going to play them or not, even
right,
huge effects.
yeah, and then you have to look at
Yeah.
everyone's like what's going on in front of you right
We
now.
When we would play this live, we literally had what do you call it? Like when you put the plastic wrap over paper, um, we had a
Right.
rule where everyone had to write their like everyone basically what the online does. You had to write like your sales price range
Right,
like against your goods because it just is such a fucking pain in the ass to remember. Wait, oh, he can sell it for 7. Like, oh god, you know.
right.
So everyone like wrote that on their sheet so you could see.
Interesting. See, yeah, we never. So I mean, I've only played it in person 2 or 3 times. We never did that because we were just like, that's again. I think it's. I find it fascinating, and am very okay with the fact that playing these games like adjudicated with an online system that like may or may not display information is just such an.
Yeah,
It's just so different. It's. I mean,
yeah,
yes, it's the same game formally, but like because different information is being given to you at any given time, it's
Right.
it's just so different, right? And I mean, this is related to the recording we're going to do tonight, right? Like, I mean, Balatro is full of that, right? Of
Yeah.
like
yeah,
not telling you percentages or requiring that you figure out painstakingly, I might add, which of the hands is better, right? And I, at some point during my play, similar to what we talked about here just now, I just vibe it, right? I'm like, I think that okay, this is 130 chips with a multiplier of base 20, but the chances of getting, I'm like, okay, let's just go with that, right? Like I have a very very quick early out where I'm like, this feels like the right thing to do. And I know that you don't, I mean, again, if you want to be better than me at that game, all you'd have to do is sit down and do the math. Because then you could exactly figure out what's the better version. And they're not showing it to you, right?
Yeah.
Which is debatable from a design perspective when you have a digital game. Right? Because in a digital game, I'd probably show that stuff, but it's a decision, right? It's a decision that you make from a point of view of what kind of play do you want to encourage. And I'm also, to be clear, I think that's maybe not even how far that thought goes on most designers' part, right? Like maybe it does, probably it did at some point, but at some point they just made a choice, right? And it wasn't some super grand, this is my brilliant design philosophy, right? It's often just a, nope, this feels like the right thing to do. The same way I'm playing it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just,
well, I think, I mean, Balatro being so closely tied to the poker aesthetic and poker as a mechanism for going through like this deck builder part of it, like I can understand saying that, okay, I will give you all the numbers, I will give you the equation, but I'm not gonna do it for you. You still have to run through the equation. You still have to show your work, because if you're at the card table playing poker,
right?
Like you can calculate the pot odds in your head, but you're not going to have something immediately there that says
right. But like when you're playing, I see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I just think when you're playing a single player game, maybe again, I'm talking to you all about this right now. This is probably not going to come up. I mean, maybe it'll come up, right? It might. Right?
I've talked to the dev about this, and the no preview is a hugely contentious thing that he feels extremely strongly about in the final. So I look forward to that conversation you guys have about it.
These things usually come up or don't, or like the more contentious issues are usually, they come up organically when we feel that the developer wants to talk about it, and then we let them talk about it, right? It's not like us interrogating them, because I generally don't think that's a good way to talk to a designer,
right?
And none of us do. So because it's just like, what are you doing here? Like it's not interrogations. It's more of a like, hey, a lot of people like your game. What are the things that you feel are most strong about it? But like I personally would not have done that, right? I would have probably not done that. I would have erred on the side of what most of the modern day games do when they're digital, and it says like, well, we're just going to show you as much information as you need to make the decision, especially in a single player game. If it's a multiplayer game, totally different, right?
I think it's interesting. I've thought about this a little bit. I think it was like a comment Doug made several episodes, like last year kind of episode, talking about like the homogenization of aesthetics in indie games. And I do think he meant it maybe more in the visual aesthetics, but I kind of wonder about the like over quality of lifeification of games.
I mean, it's possible.
And I definitely, I mean, I'm being a vibes player. What Balatro did is fine with me, but I kind of appreciate that it's kind of like a sharp edge a little bit, and not just sanded off like in like a QOL kind of way.
It was definitely a thing that turned me off in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a thing that would have potentially, I don't want to say locked me out is too strong a word for this. Would have like if I'm like waking up in the morning, I'm like, feeling, what do I want to engage with today? It's a thing that would have potentially been like, I don't want to do the math in this game, right? And then I realized relatively quickly, right? Like I realized after like 3 hours. It took me about 3 hours to be like, oh, this doesn't actually matter. Right? Like there are like other things going on here that are like much more important.
Yes.
Like much higher level strategies where this matters, but not as much as I thought it did. But it felt like it did in the beginning. And I don't
I mean ultimately you're following
I just don't think
ultimately you're following an exponential curve. And you know whether you're on the curve or not. It's not about
definitely know what you're on.
Plus or minus n. You know, it's like, is it x xn or not?
Yep. And but again, it takes a moment, I think, to get to that point. And up to that point, I think that certain like this hand is better than this hand wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. But I see. There's no right or wrong here, right? I don't think there's a. Sometimes people use the term, including some of our hosts, including myself every now and then, but we slip and say like we think A or B is better, like strictly better. And you can only really say that in the case of like you're comparing two things and they're numerically, you can evaluate them. This hand gives you more points, right? Or something like that. But from a pure like design perspective, I don't think there's often the case where you can say this is better than that. And I said to my students, because we were talking about this in class, and they were like, well, what do you think about it now? I'm like, well, I've played it enough now and I can appreciate what it's doing. And I think it could have reached an even wider audience. But it also sold 250,000 copies in 48 hours. So whatever I think or how much that matters is almost academic, right? But I am an academic, so.
Well, I would even say to the question of high level play and how much that matters too. I think Michael Bro even mentioned it as a question, maybe potentially that you guys will touch on in the conversation.
I still have to scour the Discord for questions to put in the show document.
There's a bunch of good questions in the Discord, by the way.
No,
Anybody listening to this, like
super active.
Show Discord, come to join the Discord there. But also, like, he mentioned, and I've seen this in my own experience playing some of the higher difficulty levels too, like a high card strategy is viable, and actually in some of the higher difficulties it becomes almost necessary because the debuffs from the boss blinds become so punitive that you can't complete any other hand. So basically what I've been doing to go through up to like I said, either the black blind or the black stake or whatever, I will ride flushes all the way up to a point where I can get enough, and it's about playing to the jokers and getting. Can I set myself up on that exponential curve?
Right.
Can I onboard to that and then onboard into a high card strategy off of flushes? Because flushes are the easiest thing to consistently do early.
Yeah.
Then and on that axis, it's what hand you're playing sort of falls away, and it becomes much more about how do I get a good economy going so that I can re-roll to get the right jokers in between hands.
Yeah, I have. Go ahead.
And no, I mean that's basically like it becomes the poker hand that you're playing is secondary to what jokers you're getting. What I mean, really, so much of it depends on the jokers, in my opinion.
I mean, I haven't managed to pivot. I mean, the thing is, when I usually play it, again, I've only played it for like 10 hours, which to me feels like I'm, I think it feels to me like a 50-hour game. Like, play it for 50 hours, you've probably seen most of it, and then you can put it to rest, or it just becomes your comfort food.
Right.
But at 10 hours, I have not managed to start with buff up a specific poker hand and then pivot into something else, because I saw that comment by Michael with the one card with the high card strategy.
Yeah.
And I only, these days I've been so even this spring break, I'm spring break right now this week. Haha. I've been so busy that I've had barely any time to engage with the Discord at all. But I did see that one comment. I didn't read anything above or below it. And I just was like, oh, cool, let's try to level up a high card. And I couldn't pull that off. I died on a vine. Because it's not good. It's terrible in the early game.
It's terrible early. And that's the balancing act, right? Yeah. That's what I said. I usually ride flushes early, but it's a question of how quickly can I get off to a high card. And by the time I get there, have I boosted it enough that it can still slot within the other multipliers that I have, right? And I think that's the bridge into high level play, at least the way that I would perceive it. But comparing that against when you're confronted with, I have to make this hand, here are the hands in poker, here's what their values are.
Right.
It's a little bit, it's diversionary, especially in the way that some of the poker terms are kind of weirdly used. One of the questions that I asked is, how important is poker to this, right? The poker theming and everything else.
It's a little bit. I feel like you just answered that question yourself in the last 5 minutes, which is important to it, but the nomenclature is maybe less important. But the fact that one of the things you can value is a single card versus 4 or 5, right?
Yeah,
that seems pretty important, right? So. Again, because of the way it's built around poker, but it's not, it feels like it needed poker as a scaffold, but then poker kind of fades into the background. The second you have a better payout from a pair than a royal flush, you're like, wait, what? That's when it doesn't matter because of the way the game is structured. But
yeah,
it generates a lot of discourse. So people have very strong opinions about it. And it's definitely grabbed me now to the point where I want to play more, but I don't want to play more, if that makes any sense.
Same.
But I don't see it. I get to that point after 10 hours. Because right now first of all, the title melody is playing on loop in my head, right? Because it's playing all the time. I never turn it off. So I'm like, doom, doom. And I like it. I kind of like it. It's an earworm, but it's like really an earworm. So that's number one. So because of that, it's playing in my head all the time. So I'm always thinking about it. And so I'm like, oh, and then there's like some impulse in me that wants to play it, but then I interrogate the impulse. I'm like, I don't actually want to. And I guess that's addiction, right? So like, it's definitely got like a point. It's got its hooks in me to a point where I want to play it more, but if I'm honest to myself, I kind of don't, right? I think I'm good with where I got to. I got to 11. I don't even know what happens when you get to 16, right? Or if anything happens at 16. I think it's listed.
The blinds start showing as mathematical formulas.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that, right? Like I saw when you go to current play, it shows you what the ante is in the different levels, right? And it already goes to e to the power of blah blah, or 10 to the power of blah blah blah, right?
Right.
But that list stops at 16, right? And so I don't know what happens when you go to. Is there a 17 at 16? Does it tell you the overflow, or what happens? Right? Because I have
screen coming up.
Yeah, is there a kill screen after 16? Because I mean, my highest is 11, right? Because I never got to the. I think the best I ever got was I got a card to like reliably mult 4 or mult 4.5, and that was a joke, right? Like I need
5 apparently.
Yeah, I needed mults in the deck. Turns out, right?
Yes.
And not in the pokers. On top of that, and those are the ones then with the mime that can just like repeat.
Yeah, you need them all.
Right? And so I was like, yeah, I could look this up. I could figure out a combo. I'm not figuring out a combo on my own. I can look it up and see what happens. But that again then becomes an exercise, right? That I'm like, for example, right? Today I could have spent the last 4 hours playing more Balatro and prep for the show tonight, but I was very comfortable with where I got, right? So I was like, and so I think for me, this was a better use of my time. And that's not me saying Balatro is not a good game. I think it's a fantastic game. I think it deserves all the praise that it gets. I just think for me, it's a 10 to 12 hour game. And now that I've beat 5, I just unlocked challenge mode. I don't know what challenge mode is because I stopped right there, right? You beat it with the 5 base decks that are not raise the stakes, and then you get to challenge. So what is challenge mode? You guys tell me what that is.
I haven't messed around with it.
Oh, you haven't messed around? Okay.
No.
Interesting.
I'll say straight up, I have not even beaten the full release. I only ever beat the demo. The full release is absolutely bedeviling me. It doesn't help that I got to. Like every time I've got to the final ante, like something absolutely stupid has happened. Like I didn't notice that it was play one hand. And I was like, do. It's like, I'm like, what the? Oh my god!
Wait, you have
a number of awesome hands that I discarded on accident.
1 second.
Oh, that too.
Just
100%.
When you say beat, you have not beaten ante 8 with any deck in the full game yet.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. Because
I only have like 7 hours in the full game.
Got it. I thought that was going to take me forever because it felt like a very high mountain, and then I got a good Joker combo like on my, I kid you not, like on my second game on the PS5.
Yeah.
I got like a good Joker combo, and that very easily carried me to 10, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I was
like
yeah.
Yeah, today I got what I thought was for sure like this. I was getting like 50,000 chips a hand and stuff like that, and my eighth boss blind was the one that was like not the wall but the bigger wall. It's like 300,000 chips, and I got like 296, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, the boss blinds are rough, right? And then the other thing I do, of course, because again I'm vibing it, right? Like I sometimes just play the small blinds without even looking. And then I'm like halfway through the small blind, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then on the PS5, you hit the big pad in the middle, and you can look at what the boss blind is. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, let's look at this before I get to the shop, right? Yeah. Like, let's not be that boneheaded. Like, vibing is good, but like, I'm like, I should at least know. Like, then it's not that hard to. I should be able to read. But sometimes I'm even too lazy to do that. But no, it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to talking to. From what I hear from Nick at this point, the dev is like on the order of like summoning salt levels of Anonymous. Yeah. So I think tonight we're only going to get. I think we're not going to see this person on video, and we're not going to find out who. I mean, and it's fine, right? I have no problems with that. But it was interesting for me,
Broadcasting from an
right?
undisclosed location with the voice with the Doug or Zach voice modulator, like changing up the.
Exactly, that would be amazing. I
Oh my
think
god, that reminds me. I was listening to some other podcast and someone came on. I'm like, oh my god, it's like a third Doug Zach voice. Like I meant to send it to the eggplant, but I forgot. It just sounded exactly like them.
I never. The funny thing is, I never thought of their voices being particularly generic, like or like
I don't think
common,
they're
right?
generic at all. Is the
Well,
crazy
yeah, and the
part. I
same
think their
like.
voices are very unique, but
Well, also
maybe too unique
the funny
because they
thing for
sound the
us,
same.
of course, is that you all think like I've known that those dudes both since like 2009, so I can very easily keep them apart.
Right.
It's only after it was pointed out to us, right, that I was
Yeah.
like, oh wait, they do sound kind of similar.
Picking up cold on the
Right.
podcast kind of hard because I think some of the inflections and the way that they like.
I mean, at this
It's
point,
not
they
just the
lean into
voice.
it, right? At this
Well,
point,
they
they're
lean into it
100% lean
now,
into it.
right? Right,
Um,
but it was a little difficult to sort out at first, but I don't know, like for Punchbowl Paradise, like I mix up like Richie and Chad all the time, even though like like they talk in different registers because they have that same quality of voice too. It may just be that podcast flatten that out. They flatten out a
well,
voice quality.
also similar to that podcast, I think they get hung up on the same similar things, right? So when one of them starts critiquing or being like, oh, I kind of feel like blah blah, you're like, you don't know who's talking because you can't
Right.
tell because they're like, oh yeah, you both, neither of you are, both of you love this or both of you are like not a fan, right? I think their design sensibilities are the most aligned amongst the hosts, I think, right? Like Nick and I are a little bit more candle in the wind about things. I would like to believe, but maybe I'm also like maybe my perception of myself is very off. Um, like I like because again I like to I have less of a desire these days to insert my opinion into things. I find it to be more more of a drain, and it's more interesting to hear what other people have to say. But that's also maybe an age thing. I don't know. I've just come to the conclusion that that's an easier thing for me to do. Okay, well, it's 3:36. I think we should probably wrap this up. But yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I want to play this again. I feel like I want to
Yeah.
play this again. I don't even
Yeah, I'm
know.
down to play again online for sure.
I wonder just now from this experience. I wonder how well this maps to to like actual like because we yes we're playing online but we're playing in person sync basically, sort of. Sometimes these games do not translate well. Like for example, Horseless Carriage, amazing async, right? Because yeah,
Right.
you get to the factory stage and you're like, oh, now I'm gonna like pour a drink, spend an hour looking at this factory board. I never spend that long, but you could, and it wouldn't hurt anyone, and it would probably be interesting, and that way everyone can decide whether they want to do it or not.
Yeah, I think the issue here is you got the multi-round bidding. That's gonna just take a
That's
while.
terrible. And Food Chain is I'm never gonna play that async again, right? Because by the time the turn comes back to me, I forgot everything.
Totally lost. Yeah, you
I'm
totally
totally
lost.
lost. Like I
Yeah.
can't just
That's
look
true.
at the
I mean, it's great
boards.
to play online, but not async. Yeah, I get that
Exactly.
distinction. Yeah.
Right.
This here async, yeah, the turn order phase is annoying as hell for async, right? The actual turns, because you don't interact with the others during your turn, seems fine. So maybe it's a price that's worth paying. I don't know.
Well, how many times did we go around? I mean, I guess the bidding early. Well, I don't know. It's tough to say. It's first time we played. We were feeling it out. I wonder how many times it really would go around on bidding.
I don't
On
think you ever want. I don't think you want your delta to ever be massive, because then you overpaid, right? If the next
Yeah.
person's like, if everyone passes and you're like, oh wait, I just wasted.
Yeah.
And it won't-
It's like you want to win the bid, but you don't want to be last to bid, but you can't win the bid without being last to bid.
Right.
So,
But you also don't
No,
want. I think the only reason I think in these kinds of style bid wars to like overshoot is if you already mathed out that that's the number you're going to go to, and
yeah.
you're fine with that, so that you lock. So okay, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go to this, and it's going to lock everyone else out, and that's what I want, and I'm okay with paying this price. But if you're not doing that, you're probably going to just raise it a little bit, right? Is my guess. I don't know.
I need to run some like Excel simulations or something, but it really feels like
You're not
in a
paying
lot
enough.
of these like a lot of these multi-round bidding games, there's literally no point to not just going one at a time.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the way this works, I suspect the math is such that like, yeah, if you know you're going to go to a certain amount, it's like better to not. If you're trying to win a bid, it is better if the other players are like slow bidding
Yeah.
to get you
Right.
there.
I definitely feel like I
think.
had an opportunity at king making Andy if I had made a more aggressive bid open on that last round. There may have been a possibility.
Well, I mean, now that we know it was one difference,
Right.
maybe.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to say that in
right.
hindsight, but
Yeah.
just to show that okay, the affordance is there, like the possibility was there.
I think the
know.
bigger deal for this specific game was that you didn't use it. If you had used your specialist more often, then there would have been more there.
There would have been more
there
to
would
work
have been
with.
more to work with, and then that would have been a closer game. But because there,
Yeah, the specialist to me just felt so like game theoretic poor of like, why am I doing this work to put stuff out that like everyone is very much going to benefit from, not just like
Yeah.
a little bit, you know, of like selling the masks to you, but like there's no way to make the resource just for yourself really, other than proximity.
I mean,
So it's
maybe
like
if I had a lot of craftsmen out, early, and to say, okay, well, you're going through me, I'm going to put out additional resources to go through me, try to get an economic advantage that way. Maybe.
It's like you're already spending the extra resources. You have to spend. Was it free to do it, or were you spending money to do it?
Well, you spend two. You spend two, but
one.
but they put them on the card and it comes back, right? So it's
Okay,
like they're
so
they're locked in.
okay.
You're not paying. You're
See. Okay,
locking
yeah.
them. You're locking them away to like place a resource anywhere of any type, anywhere you want it, right?
I'm sure all these things make sense, right? It's not like Splatter's going to put something out where there's like a broke ass like
No,
ability. Like,
I think
sure it makes sense.
my guess is the shaman's super strong if you know what you're doing. Right?
There might be ones that are better in a lower or higher player counts. Like I wonder if that resource thing's better in a lower player count where you could maybe like hoard a side of the board or something. I don't know.
It's just so. I mean, what was the cost on that? It's +3 on the shaman, right? So you basically, for a thing you rarely used, you just raised your victory requirement by 3, right? So if you're not using it, like in any of these cases, if you're not using it, like your builder is +2, and it's the one that you can activate, and then you pay the first 2 cattle of each newly placed craft. I don't know how often you use that, Brian. I'm not sure how often you use the builder.
I know that I did not exploit
only once, I think.
The value, right? Like I did not break even on my specialist at all.
I'm looking here right now. So Brian,
at least not the way that I used it.
Yeah, because you
only used it once, but
you have a potter and a vessel maker. Is that really all you had on the board?
Yep.
Yeah, so you at most used it twice, right? But you're saying you only used it once.
I think I just used it when I built the secondary thing.
Yeah, I mean, I used mine every turn, right? I was like every turn I had. I think most of the time I had 6 left over, right? So I was just getting 3 extra cattle.
Yeah.
So no, I felt like, but it's also +6.
It's +6. I think it's justified.
Probably. Like, I mean, I definitely got a lot out of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, +6. Yeah, there's no way of like, I shouldn't have taken the herd, and then I would have reached 21 or 31 out of 28. No, that's not what would have happened, right? I definitely at one or another point. No, I mean, whatever. We don't have to theorycraft about this too much, but like, when I went for the raising monuments, I think I should have put out more resources, but because I felt that was like, I think I'm gonna choke on this, and then I did. Yeah. But that's a sign of a good game, because I felt that, and I tried it anyway to see if I'm right, and it turns out I was, which is which is always for me an interesting place to be, where I'm like, I'm not sure, but like maybe. No, I like this a lot. Yeah, I mean, we can just wrap this up now, and then you both can. I'm gonna stop the stream and just say thanks everyone for watching. You guys can still stay on because we still chat for 2 seconds. And I guess I'm gonna put this up as a YouTube video. It's long, but it was also, I think that was a free fun Balatro discussion at the end.
Just as a chaser.
Yeah, just as see if you want to actually watch a 3.5 hour video with a bunch of nutcases talking about a game that has nothing to do with the title of the video. So I hear that's
like the Harry Potter right now. Yeah. You know, you get recommended goods on Amazon. It's like Harry Potter. Everyone's reading it. Balatro. Everyone's playing it. Doesn't matter. Balatro.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, is this?
I just wanted mac and cheese. Why Balatro?
This is a highly professional content creator. Okay, let's sign it off. Cheers, everyone.
Later.
Bye bye.
Thanks for playing.